What's up, everyone? It's Rich and
Hey, Kelsey. Yeah, I almost forgot.
This is going to be really fun. And I complimented Kelsey immediately on his background. Look at all the books.
Yeah, I almost forgot. Oh, now I got to turn my audio off. Hang on.
You already boomered it. No.
Yeah, I am. I'm totally boomered. Okay.
How do I get this?
Good. Yeah, and then I got this camera, this handy camera, like right in my face.
I told Kelsey that it looks like he's in like a gold mine, and he's like a bunker, and he's brought all his books into it.
I'm mining for a comic treasure. Yeah, that's here's the reason why this setup looks like this is so that I could do this.
Oh,
so this is we're gonna look at some actual physical comic books.
Oh man, this is gonna be so fun. And it's funny is it's those Akira books are so identifiable, but who said it? It was did it go up that fast? Oh, it was dumbest name said I see some Akira, but yeah, those Akira sides are so noticeable.
Oh yeah, back there. Yeah, but I actually pulled out and we're not going to get on this one too much just because, but I thought it was a novelty and I thought it would be fun to show. But like in this the second to last Akira episode has a painted story by Mark Texeira.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so it's funny you bring up Akira because Akira is something that was definitely a little on the docket today.
Now I need to look through my books and see if I have 37 because I have how many of those Akira books were there?
Well, there's 38 of these epic individual issues.
So
I've
probably got like 30 of them. I'm missing.
I think there's 7 trades of the black and whites.
There's 6 of those.
6 of them. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I've got about 30 of the 38. So yeah, I'll have to see if I have that one because that looks really good. His Akira, great.
Well, to catch up a little bit, just because we usually do this for about half an hour, but we could do like a quickie. Like, how's your week been going? You've been doing a lot of drawing, I know.
I know.
A lot of redrawing.
yeah. So I showed Kelsey a double page spread, which was the last piece that I did for Crystal Planet #2, and I was tired. But I've said it enough times publicly that I always feel that you need to finish a book stronger than you started, and so I had to put my foot in the sand and just shove forward. So it was an extra spread. It was not originally going to be in the book, but there was a sequence where I felt like we could open it up and really have like a huge kind of epic thing. So I went for it, but when I got it done, I mean, I knew there were some problems, but I was sort of hoping in my exhaustion and sort of image fatigue that maybe it wouldn't be as noticeable to other people. But no, the editor, or I call him my art director more than my editor, but he's like, oh man, he's like, there's some weird stuff going on here. And I was like, oh no.
That's actually my gauge for whether or not I'll change something. Like there's sometimes I'll let stuff go.
Yeah.
And some stuff I'm like, let's just see if anybody notices. And if anybody brings it up and it's already on my mind, that means I have to change it, you know? But and sometimes they do, and I'm like, I was thinking the same thing. All right, I gotta change it.
Honestly, it hurts and it's embarrassing, and it's one of those things where you really like I kind of joke that you have to eat a lot of humble pie.
Yeah.
But I spent about 5 or 6 hours reworking it. I definitely think that it looks better. It was like there were parts of it that I thought looked really cool, but it wasn't so much the piece overall, but little like I'm literally able to draw now with ink where I can picture something and I can start with the bottom of a shoe and draw up the leg, whatever I need to do. I'm being able to do that, which is pretty exciting. I'm not saying that they look great, but I mean I drew a guy's whole bottom half of his body and I started drawing his heel and the sole of his foot and just went right up that way with nothing penciled.
That's probably good because you're coming off of such a long career of inking. You know, if you were to just stop and go straight into penciling, it might be kind of hard to, you might hamstring yourself by doing full pencils and then going back to inks. But you're just kind of like, I'm just going to figure this all out at once, you know, and just make it a thing, which is probably a better idea. I'm finding myself kind of like a little bit opposite in that because I'm so rusty with traditional inking and penciling.
Right.
I'm having to kind of retrain myself in each discipline first. You know?
you've drawn a lot of double page spreads. So that double page spread was only the third one that I've ever drawn. And it's the first one that I've ever drawn that I would consider had actually very big objects on it.
Yeah.
So the other two were kind of more sizes that I've worked with before. But I started drawing, like some of the figures were bigger than I'm used to. And that takes some getting used to.
Tricky. You see some guys like Kirby, for instance. Kirby, when he would draw a bigger figure, wouldn't add more detail. He would just enlarge the details that he would put into the background. And then there's other guys that when they do a close-up or a big giant face, they'll add tons of rendering because it's bigger and you got more space to play with.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the questions that he asked me. He goes, why did you change your style? And I said, I'm like, I just tried to draw it the best that I could.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, it looks different. Like, and I said, well, look, I definitely have a propensity to get more angular with my stuff. It's just how, what it was is the funny thing is so one of the very first pieces that I inked that I actually had a lot of fun with when I was learning to ink was the sample page was a Cully Hamner firearm page.
Oh yeah.
And Cully's stuff was real angular and kind of that Jason Pearson thing. And so I kind of learned to do that first and it was fun. And so that literally has stayed with me my whole career.
Yeah, that's about the same way I started because I was very drawn to that super clean. That's why I was drawn to like Stelfreeze stuff and like Cully's and Jason Pearson because they all had that kind of angular and super clean and graphic, I guess would be a good way to look at that stuff. It was easy to kind of see the approach to the style, whereas like a Jim Lee, I'm like, I love this stuff, but I can't really figure out what these lines mean, and when I'm doing them, I'm just like, this doesn't look like he's doing because he understands what it is.
When I've said that like maybe in other videos and stuff like that. Right now, when I put shadows on my stuff, like in particular faces, it doesn't work and it doesn't look right to me. And I'm not really very good at rendering faces. I understand the idea behind it, but I don't know if I'm not hitting the planes right or what it is. But it's like I agree. It's easier for me to do more like a J. Scott Campbell like open like thing.
I actually I pulled out all my my Mark Texeira, speaking of Tex, because of how he does like all this dual lighting and stuff. Sure. And he does a lot on the faces and stuff. I don't know why I'm holding it up to the camera and I got this damn camera right here, but anyway, we're not looking at that, but I'm just saying, I want to get better at doing the shadows and the dual lighting and stuff because when that comes up in the story, when you're trying to create mood and atmosphere, nothing works like some good like lighting effects, under lighting or edge lighting or whatever. Yeah. And I've always done those in color, but when you're trying to render them in ink, it's a whole other discipline.
It was weird. I'm going through my comic book collection right now. Oh, and also I wanted to say first, like, hello to everyone. So I mean, we could run down the whole list of everyone that's in the chat, but we definitely want to say hi to everyone. So hello, and then I've been going through my comic book collection, like literally everything, and I found some books that Mark Texeira had done that I didn't realize that he had worked on, but I can't remember what they were off the top of my head. But it was something
like
it was
older stuff.
It would have been, I think, before Ghost Rider. So I don't know what project he worked on right before Ghost Rider.
Oh, he has like a PSI. Hold on, I got a whole stack of his stuff right here. I probably have it.
Yeah, we're going to get into the painted comics in just a second. We usually do a little catch up.
Yeah, shoosh. Yeah, I went on a tirade where I went to the store and then I pulled out my phone and I was just like, I'm going to buy everything Mark Texeira has ever done because my store was having these big sales.
Did you
back issues?
Did you see I came across my Frank Turan Punisher issues?
Yeah, I gotta go snag those, man.
I know. I was like, there's one of the issues that we went over. I actually don't own, and I actually need to go buy it. But I had the other one. I had the Sabretooth issue that he did.
I did find my Wildcats trilogy though. That's been fun looking through.
I came across those too.
Well, I can't find it, but I have a book that Tex did. I don't think it could have been PSI Force or something like that, but I'll have to find it. Maybe I'll do a tweet about it. But yeah, he's worked on a bunch actually before he really came into his own thing.
You know your picture is off though right now, right?
Oh yeah, I was leaning around. I didn't want to see my crack.
Yeah, no worries. I wasn't sure if you knew it was off or
somebody brought up Esad, and I have Esad's first American work. I was trying to find that. I may dig that up here in a second, but it's a Warrior Nun Ariella for Antarctic Press. It was a one shot, and it was fully painted. And I remember being in the office when that came in, and his pages, they were about this big, so they were very small for a painted comic, and they smelled like cigarettes. You get like I wasn't a smoker at the time, so it was like, oh man,
yeah,
how much do you have to smoke before your artwork smells like cigarettes?
Ribic is funny. I actually partied with him one time. He came to Wildstorm, but we went out for dinner and like shot pool. He's a gigantic man.
Yeah, he's impressive figure.
Like literally, like if you bump into him, like you apologize to him, or like if he bumps into you, you apologize to him, like kind of size.
Well, I'm 6'1", and probably a little extra, and he was a good head taller than me. And I remember being at San Diego one year, and we were both at like dinner parties. I was at some Image party, and he was at a Marvel dinner party, and we were in the same restaurant, and I could see him across the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of sitting around, and everybody was talking, and I see him, and I'm like, you can go smoke, and he's like, yeah, let's go. So we go outside, and we're having a smoke, just shooting the shit, and like people just kept coming up to him and like, oh, Esad, and I'm like, man, people love you. And he's like, yes, I think I'll start the religion.
I know. He is very charismatic. I definitely found myself that night, because there was a lot of people there. It was probably 20 or 30 people went to this. It was kind of like a Wildstorm thing.
Yeah.
And, I found myself all night kind of wanting to always be in sort of like close proximity, like his magic. It was fun.
Oh, he is magic. He is like a magical beast, that I don't know. There's definitely magic around that guy. And I hear that he's effortless when it comes to like these paintings. Like you most people would labor over it. Like I'd be like, oh, this isn't right. Apparently he's just like, done.
No, it's true. It's I'm regretting that I didn't grab some of his work. We've got a lot to look at though, so trust me, we'll definitely miss some artists that we should have 1000% had in this.
Oh yeah.
But, there's always a part 2 we can do.
Yeah, because this is honestly when Rich was like, you want to do painted comics, and I was like, yeah, I mean, what, Arkham Asylum, Judgment on Gotham, and I started looking through it, and I'm like, gosh, all these Batman books, and then something clicked where I was like, oh crap, and I started remembering all these other books, and I'm like, actually, these were the thing before digital kind of really took off, when you wanted that fully rendered world.
We are
painted books,
I'm answering the chat while you're talking, like it's so rare. He goes, you better talk Bisley. We are.
Oh, no. We're intentionally not going to.
Yeah.
No, actually, there was one I wanted to pull out, but I had to like limit myself, because once the floodgates opened, I was like, Bisley did a Mr. Monster story that is one of my favorites of all time. I just love that book, and it's just I don't even think it's a full book. He did an aliens book. There was a lot of good painted alien stuff. Dennis Bouvier. I mean, it's so much.
Let's talk parameters. Not that it really matters. It's like splitting hairs with labels. Okay, so now, do you consider an inked comic book with painting around it an inked book or a painted book, or does it have to be painted?
That's the thing. That's what I actually had to ask you, because we had to narrow the field to just painted, because
like painted.
But even some of these, like you can, like Chris Muller that we're looking at with Shadow Empires and all that, he has like an outline around his stuff. It's almost like if this was done today, you would just assume that it was a digitally painted comic, that kind of thing. But Bisley also, if you look closely, he's got inks under his paintings. You see it peeking out every now and then.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a mixed media thing, but comics in the day used to be, and in Europe still today, they were painted on a board, and then the inks were on an acetate laid over the top of that. So technically, my copy of, Iron Wolf here, this is technically a painted comic book. It's airbrush and painted. It's got paints. I mean, but it's got an ink overlay. So it's out.
Is it out? So that'll be interesting. So let me or do you want to show some art first, and you'll have to tell me. I think oh, okay, here they are inked or painted. Okay, so here I'm going to share your screen. You let me, or I'll put you full screen. Sorry.
Okay. So what do you want to start with?
You honestly just start with whatever you'd like. Let's go do this. Okay, I'm going to go full screen for you, and then I'll watch the chat. Oh, I didn't do it right.
First, let me check on my iron.
Oh, sorry.
All right, yeah, it's okay. It's good. Don't worry, guys.
I'm going to give you the solo layout. Okay. Now I'll follow the chat.
All right, so I guess we'll start with Chris Muller, because I don't know that many people are familiar with Chris Muller and Iron Empires. But this was a series that came out in the 90s, and Iron Empires is the name of this whole saga. In case you're wondering why I got Will Eisner down here, it's because the lighting.
So the series is called Iron Empires?
Well, the whole saga, I think you could buy a trade now that's called Iron Empires, and I think it's all, because he'd done short stories in Dark Horse Presents in black and white. It's appeared. The second series is Shiva's War, and that came out through the DC Helix imprint. So it's a saga. It's definitely his Star Wars. It's his life's work that he's compelled to keep doing, much like Mark Schultz's Xenozoic Tales. It's the thing he'll probably do for the rest of his life. So I am a huge sci-fi,
that's cool.
Epic sci-fi nut. I'm not sure if I can get any closer to these. Let's see.
No, that's good. Pull out just the tiniest bit.
Just to get full.
Right there is perfect.
Let's get focused. All right.
Bro.
There we go. So, yeah, when I saw these, it was right at the time, too, where I was all interested in, like, painted comics. And, I was learning how to do, acrylics and whatnot. And, but, I was eating up sci-fi epics, and like this is the guy that was doing it. Realistic. And when I say science fiction, I mean like hard science fiction, where he's working out the governments and like the societal structures and like the alien species, he's world building at like the highest level in these books.
It looks great. It's really cool.
Yeah, and just I love his this is like very labored. I mean, he's using I think acrylics probably. Good page layout too.
Oh, that's really cool. A very interesting layout.
Yeah, I like how they're going. How he uses this as like a border. And when I do stuff like this, it doesn't feel right. Do you ever try stuff like that where you see other artists doing that? And you're like,
I was literally just going to say, I'm not 100% sure that I've ever seen something like that drawn in a comic, like exactly what he did there with a actual, almost like a TV screen type of view.
Well, a buddy of mine, Victor Santos, did this in a comic book where he had a character, and it was just a silhouette, and then inside the silhouette was broken up into panels. And then they ripped that off for a movie poster, apparently, because the movie was made in Spain, where he did that comic. So wow. Anyway, I like he's got like spaceships, and I'm gonna flip through this a little bit faster, try to find some there's this whole thing with these worms.
Oh,
I mean, it's an old sci-fi trope, really. You know, the worm that gets in you so you can control your brain. I mean, they did that in Wrath of Khan with the earwigs.
Sure. It always is like in the back of your neck. It's like some kind of implant.
I love this stuff. Like, there. He's also a huge role-playing game fan, and I was also into role-playing games at the time, like D&D, of course, and Shadowrun. I was huge into Shadowrun. So there were, then I found out he was all into that, and it kind of made sense because of how much world building he does, you know, and that's always a thing in like in role playing games is the DM is building this world in your brain that you're playing in. So he was obviously a natural for story.
This looks like a really fun comic to read, like just like, you know, kind of get in a comfortable chair and just get into the story and like let the movie kind of take you on a journey. It looks really neat. Yeah,
because there's a lot of characters, definitely a lot of drama. Look at this great drama face here. But anyway, so years later he did, I mean, after a run of Batman, I think he did maybe Legends of the Dark Knight. I don't know. There was a series of covers he did for Batman, and he also did posters, and he kind of took off after this one. Rocket Man. He did Rocket Man, which I don't have any copies of, but I had that book, loved it. And then Shadow Empires, and then Shiva's War years later. But you could tell his artwork by this point, which is probably just a few years later.
So what
was really taken off?
You said that the Helix line is a DC line?
Yeah, DC Helix. That was their attempt to create our own line after Image, I think, and after Dark Horse did Icon, and I think it was around that time. So you had Cliffhanger, Icon, all these other sub brands of like top talent. So DC wanted to get in on that. I think that was Helix. So I think Neil Gaiman did a book with them, Helix. There was a few Helix books I remember, but this is the only one I cared about. I did.
Yeah.
Look at this lighting. I love this.
Yeah,
I try to do this any chance I get, where they're walking into a room and the lighting is like cutting off the. You probably can't see it here, but in the real one you can see the light kind of fading, and you can barely see her eyes. But
I can catch it a little bit. Whoa. Sexy time.
Yeah, there's definitely like a Japanese influence in this particular one,
right?
Because even on this planet, you got these farm guys, and like he's got like the headband wrap like a Japanese farmer.
Yeah.
So yeah, he must have been like doing some research. When you're reading this, you can tell he's.
Oh man, cool.
This is such good storytelling too, because like there's this moment where, he's out there with his son. This is basically the Luke Skywalker and Uncle Owen scene,
right?
And he's like, I want to go to Tossie Station, So anyway, kid takes off to go get help, but then, the birds take off. Oh, you can't really see it.
You've already sold a set of these books to.
Good. These are hard to find, so. Definitely, if you can find them, snag them, because there's no scans of these online either.
Right.
Not that I'm,
no,
scans of them.
I'm going through 6,000 comic books right now. Trust me, I've got tons, and anything that's good. I mean, I would always pick up. Oh, that monster is actually pretty original design.
Yeah. Okay, this is another thing too. Do you remember Beastmaster?
Yeah.
There were these creatures in Beastmaster, the first movie, where they were under this tree, and yeah. What do you call it? Yeah, look, I found them. They had these creatures that would under the tree, and they would wrap you up, and then suck all the skin off you, and all your bones and stuff would drop out. And that's what these things reminded me of.
Oh yeah,
because see, like right here, they wrap you up and they're like wings, and it's just like, oh, there it is, like sucking his brains out right here. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, and then later you see that there's like thousands of these things, but these are related to the worm things in the first story arc. But look at this; he's like making maps and stuff.
I know, it's
Shamper
cool.
Valley, the West Leg. I mean, he's really like getting into town.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I like some of the posing. Check this out.
Yeah,
It's very Mignola. Like I think he picked up some Mignola-isms in his stuff.
Mignola's a powerful. He's a powerful artist to enjoy. Like it's like you can really pull some great stuff from Mike's work, and kind of it assimilates into lots of different styles.
But this is very mature. So if like you're an older comic book fan and you're wanting some like serious story and stuff, this is definitely for more sophisticated palette.
Oh, those are nice pages.
Yeah.
This is looking good, man. That womb panel was really good.
What
womb? Right there. Right. Go back one page. The other way. The explosion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The lighting on that's really cool. It's kind of like from looking at it on my computer screen. It's got a little bit of like a Travis vibe from the Meta Baron book.
Yeah. Check this out. I'm going to show you one more thing from this book.
I've seen the one cover underneath the comic. That one with the girl. I've seen the cover before.
This is kind of, you can see this one all over the place, and this one. These two covers are like the most identifiable with this series. But there's this bit I want to show that, and we can move on. But like it really gets going when the battles start breaking out, and there's this battle scene that happens where you got like a double. I think it might be in the issue before this. But he was speeding up his painting techniques to talk about a little bit about the art. He was speeding up his techniques, and you could see his washes and stuff more. And I actually end up liking that stuff more. Like I really think you should move fast as an artist. I don't know. It gets your instincts out.
The last splash on that issue was really good with him holding. Yeah. That's really cool.
This great color. Look at this. These great muted grays and blues, and then you got this warm kind of highlighting in there. But I think it's in this one. Maybe 3 of 5. You got to see this double pager and then this cutaway thing. Oh yeah, look at this.
Man. Damn. That's really cool. It's like Frazetta-ish without being Frazetta-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, so she let's see. Yeah, hell. You'll just have to get the series. It's here it is. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're running up the hill. It's the first time you see how many monsters there are, and it's like, holy sh.
Why aren't there characters overlapping that don't make any sense and guns pointing at people's crotch?
But see, like our tendency is to want to fill up the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at this, how much negative space he's adding, but there's also this directional device leading you right down to this panel. It's very well executed double pager here, actually. But so I guess you want to kind of go, and then I guess back down here. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, are you moving the eye around?
Yeah, like on my double page. Well, the art director, he basically goes, you've nailed all this stuff like on other pages. He goes, but when you put it all together, for some reason it didn't gel. I don't know.
Anyway, there was a one I was trying to find where he actually does like a cutaway, which is kind of fun, where you see this citadel that they're all hanging in, and I can't find it. Anyway, he does like a cutaway where you can see the inside and the outside. I've never seen anybody do that in a comic up until recently. It's always fun.
1776 2.0 got issues 1 through 5 on eBay for $9. I think that's a great deal. We're moving back issues for sellers. People.
Yeah. So this is definitely good. Now, Chris Muller has several painted books too. One that I can grab handy right now. What did I do with it?
His guns have a very simple, almost. This is going to be a weird comparison, almost like Rob Liefeld vibe.
Yeah, in a way, they're giant mega guns.
yeah. I noticed it on the very, very first piece that you showed, and it was with the bald guy kind of standing in the middle of the 3 characters, and I was like, it's almost got like a little bit of like an X-Force vibe.
Yeah,
but done in like a very adult way.
I can't find anything. Oh well. There was another book, 2 JLA books that you can find. They're painted. Justice League. Then Wonder Woman. Yeah, there was like a Justice League with giant robots that he did.
So
which is crazy.
Zaid Comics asked if Lee Bermejo's stuff is painted. Lee does do very tonal work right now. From what I understand, what he said, there's a real long live stream that I did with him that's still on my channel. He's working all digital right now, which is absolutely crazy because his stuff actually, to me, does look traditional still. He's so good with that weird gray pencil effect that he does. But
I always thought he used like markers, like he was doing some marker rendering, and
he used to, but for right now, I think just to speed up, he's been using digital. Amazingly enough, I'm blown away. Wow, look at this.
So okay, I want to highlight Richard Corben, but I don't have any of his traditional painted comics anymore. I went through a comic purge several years ago, and I lost a lot of stuff. But I still had this one, and this is digital. But I want to just acknowledge that, well, I'm sure he has some traditional stuff in there, but he was really going full bore into the digital stuff, like before.
Dude, that is so good. I've never seen that.
Oh, really?
Not those pages.
And they're a large format, too. That's what I love.
Can you show the cover of that again? I need to go right now.
So yeah, the Den Saga stuff. Again, this is his Fanagore Press. So this is all, but he was doing this magazine, which I love this format. I would love to do something like this.
Buy it now on eBay. They're getting snapped up right now.
Yeah. Look at this lighting on this face.
His stuff, I always say whenever we look at his work, it completely confuses me. It looks so real and like almost like 3D models before 3D models existed. And I know that he would make some sculptures and stuff, but like his mind worked like a computer.
Hold on, I'm gonna zoom in on this because you got to see the texture.
Right. This is what I'm saying. It looks.
Look at the texture in the thing in the background.
It's nuts. It does look like CGI. Now I don't know. I don't know who Glenn Barr is.
Glenn Barr is great. Yeah, he's like you remember Cool World and those Cool World backgrounds that look like that wasn't him, but he does kind of wacky stuff like that. He does like Spumco kind of where it's cartoony, but there's a dark edge to it, you know. And he's a good guy too. I met him in Chicago. Yeah, Glenn Barr is great. I think you'd really dig Glenn Barr, actually.
I'll check him out for sure.
He's kind of rock and roll, like definitely some metal cartoony kind of. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a nightmare version of like 50s.
Oh, he's a lowbrow painter. I'll definitely
lowbrow. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
I'll look it up. I you know what? I may have seen his stuff and just not recognize his name. Whoa! What is she doing?
Well, what do you think? Yeah, there's some dong in here, so watch out.
Yeah, Richard
Corben loves his dong.
I know they're always flopping around somewhere.
The back part is an older story that is traditionally colored, like paints and markers and overlay and stuff. But the Den. Look at this cover. You can't even see it because it even printed dark on here. But this painting just blew my mind because this cloth like billowing in the wind and how it just looks real sometimes. This guy is just amazing. But the thing is, the reason why I'm showing this, I know it's digital, but if you look at his old traditional stuff, it's the same. He was doing this amazing looking thing like before.
What year was that stuff done?
I don't know. He reprints stuff constantly, but this is like probably in the 90s. This says 92, so
wow.
And it had to be because he was one of the early computer adopters, you know.
Dong Saga.
Yeah.
He draws big boobs too.
Yeah, I think he's just
everyone is
drawn to the extremes, you know.
Yeah, everything in his world is robust.
So if we're gonna keep going here with the live art stuff,
I want to see this. This is gonna be great.
So yeah, Akira 37's the one right before the final one, which I love. It's such a good his Tomo's art was getting super clean at this point. But yeah, so I was picking these books up monthly at this time because he had come back and he was doing them to finish off the series. And I was a huge fan of Tex, and I'd never seen him paint before. And this is like the first time he did a painted story, because he met Frazetta at a convention, and Frazetta looked at his artwork and said, "Boy, you should be painting."
Damn.
And he's been painting ever since. So that's how strong an influence Frazetta can be. This is why I'm very careful about what I say to artists, because it could potentially change their trajectory.
Yep.
Yeah,
that is incredible. But do you think that this is his first painted story?
Well, I think he's been playing around with painting for a while, obviously, but I think this is his first published painted interior work. I think he might have played. Well, okay, I take that back. This is also around the same time as Penthouse Comics. Ruining the integrity of that book. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think
I'm touching it.
You're handling it. You just lowered the grade.
No, yeah, I manhandle my books. My books are meant to be read, so like, screw your grade.
A large part of my comic collection I knew was mine forever, so I treat them carefully, but I also will handle them.
Yeah, I'll put a dirty spoon on it.
Whoa, buddy! Whoa! Okay, was that your heroin spoon? What is that?
So anyway, yeah, this I think Penthouse Comics was going on at the same time, and he was experimenting with some painting in that too, if you'd seen anything. So it was this era, I guess, this couple years where he just shifted gears. But man, I actually yeah, relax. Almost called the police. Yeah, I probably have 2 or 3 of these books, so don't worry.
I gave someone a comic book that I had worked on one time, and I was really proud of it. And as I was standing there talking to them, and they were like, "Yo, thank you for giving the comic," they rolled it up like you would like a newspaper.
Yeah.
And I was watching them do it, and all of a sudden, like the conversation just vanished, and I could only focus on the comic being rolled up in his hands.
Well, there's a difference in I gave some comics to a friend of mine to give to his kids. I had a big stack. Yeah. And then he came over a week later, and they were still rolling around in the back seat of his car and getting messed up. And I'm like, that kind of messed with me, because I'm like, give them to your kids, let them mess them up. Don't just let them go to shit in the back of your car. But if the kid grabbed it and was reading it while he's eating ice cream and dripping ice cream on it, that's what you want. I want them to be well read and used. Yeah. When I was a kid, first discovering comics, my friend was into comics, and his mom would cut up apples and cheese slices, and we'd eat, peanut butter crackers and whatever, sit on the porch,
right,
and look at comic books. And that's when I'm seeing John Buscema Wolverines for the first time, and Alpha Flight, and having no idea what I was looking at, but it was my first. But he had them on a stack. He didn't put them in boxes. He had a shelf, and he just stacked them up. And you just go and grab a handful of them and just pull them out. And covers are falling off, and it didn't matter. But anyway, I was pretty disappointed in this story because of, when I'm used to Tex is intense action. It's a cool Dave Gibbons piece back here too, but. Yeah, but it was the novelty of it is just the seeing his painting technique.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And how well it held up on this paper. Right. It makes me want to see the originals of these and see how vibrant the colors are and stuff. But because this is pretty vibrant.
Some of the faces are beautiful, and the lighting, that dual he's doing the faces, is crazy. But I actually really like all the environment shots, the stairs on that. Yeah. Are really cool. And then flip the next page.
Yeah, you can't do an homage to a Tomo without doing interiors.
I like those hallway panels are really, really cool.
Or backgrounds, Yeah.
Yeah, it really looks good.
Yeah, there's all kinds of graffiti in the background. It makes me want to say it says Magnum Comics. I don't know.
Where's the panel that he's holding the gun? Can you go back to that one?
Oh yeah, this is such a perfect shot of this with the
gun. Yeah. That's amazing. With just everything looks great.
Foreshortening the perspective. It's such a good shot. He had to have had reference.
Right.
He does a lot of reference, but he's one of those guys that doesn't. He just uses as a guide, and like that. That had to have been referenced.
Sure.
But you could tell there's no tracing or anything. He's just doing his own thing because it's still in his style. But I like this shot too. This is so hard to do. Is people flat on the ground. Yeah, and I like how beefy this dude is. This is the coach. He's like this in the actual series of Akira, but not, when you see text to him, he's like way bigger.
Oh, the bottom panel with him jumping was great.
Yeah.
Or what is he falling? He's falling down.
Yeah, he's like falling because he tossed a pencil down and.
Oh right.
Ooh!
God, those are beautiful painted pages, man.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, so that's just a novelty that in case you didn't know that existed in the back of Akira number 37.
I did not. Like I said, I'm gonna grab I actually know where my Akiras are. I'm gonna grab it out and see if I have that. Hopefully I do.
And I don't know if you're ready to move on to like the scan stuff, but
I'm really enjoying you doing this. This is actually very fun for me.
I'd be remiss if we didn't bring up, the trifecta that we generally think of: Simon Bisley, Bill Sienkiewicz, Alex Ross.
Yeah,
those three did from what I could think of, like the penultimate painted books with Judgment on Gotham, Electro Assassin, and then I guess Marvel's, or for me, Kingdom Come. I really enjoyed Kingdom Come. But like I was telling Rich, I wasn't even a fan of Alex Ross when Marvel's came out. Everybody was all on his jock about him painting comics, but he did a Terminator series before that.
Oh, right.
That I loved. I was like all into it because I was like, oh man, this looks like a Terminator movie that I've not seen. And then Marvel's came out and I thought it was like, oh, this looks boring. But I didn't understand the historical significance of
Marvels. I actually really liked Marvels. I remember getting Marvels and showing it to my grandfather. I lived with my grandparents from the time I was like 12 up, and I was getting into comics and it was a new thing, and he was like, just kind of like curious about it. And I showed him Alex Ross to kind of give it like some legitimacy in a way where it's like, oh, see, it's not all just like cartoony funny books or big guns and TNA. Like you can do like Norman Rockwell style with them. So
but he also captures these scenes of using powers and just the magnificence of it in a very realistic way. And I love actually seeing this when looking back at this stuff. Now, all these books were fun, but when they get to the Justice League book, which I didn't actually buy. So when I bought this book and saw the Justice League one, I was like, holy crap. Because the beginning of it is great. Look at that. It's great Wonder Woman double picture. So great. This is good, man. He captures the essence of what it should be. But this, huh?
Oh, I was going to say, so Alex's paintings, he used to do Astro City covers for Wildstorm, and he would send
I love those, yeah.
So his originals are about, I would say, 18 by 24. And I said this in another video where we talked about Alex's stuff. Alex's work is so perfectly done that when you look at it in person, you cannot believe that human hands actually somehow did it on the board. It looks like a print. Like you can like move it around and go, I don't even know how he applied the paint so perfectly. It was crazy.
And he does it very fast because he was trained as like a graphic artist and not as a fine artist. So he has his techniques down. He used to start by doing the shadow work first in grays and stuff, which is something you don't typically do because when you're putting your color on, that'll bleed and you'll get black or whatever your shadow color is into your stuff. Somehow he just makes it work. But I think he's changed since then. I read an article, I think, I I'm always keeping up with everybody. What are you guys doing? But anyway, when I saw this Justice League Secret Origins book, and like the beginning is these 2-page spreads that are just like the origin of, and it's just so well done. I really loved it. I'm like, where are these movies? Why are we saddled with what's his face making it so depressing? I'm like, so if you want your Justice League movies, if you want your DC movies, just look at what Alex Ross is doing, because it is a movie. I mean, he's making blockbuster films. I love the sci-fi. I'm not even a Hawkman fan, but when I saw this, I was like, oh shit, that looks cool.
Yeah. So you can get those books in Marvel Treasury size releases, or at least that's the versions that I have are about, I don't know, like 15, 16 inches tall by about 12.
I think I may still have the Superman one where he tries to end world hunger, which is really fun.
Right.
I love stories like that with superheroes. Like one of my favorite Hulk stories is by James Kachalka, and it's real cartoony, but it's funny because it was the Hulk versus the rain. Like at first it's like one drop of rain hits him on the head, and he's like, "Rrr!" And then like more, he's like, "Rrr!" And the Hulk, as mad as he gets, he can't fight the rain. I was like, that's brilliant.
It's annoying him.
Look at this, and here's your title page after your like first 10-minute opening beat. Liberty and justice. Enter Sandman's playing.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Man, Alex is so good.
Yeah. So anyway, stuff's cool. When I was trying to stay away from this stuff, but I don't really have a whole lot anymore. Actual books. Now, this is making me want to like go back. I don't even have a copy of Judgment on Gotham.
Do you think Alex's perfect ability makes his work less interesting? Because I've heard people kind of criticize that, where it's like, I think someone called it like the ultimate vanilla, and I thought it was like an interesting sort of.
Yeah, you know what? It's like when you go to these stores and you see like the commercial stuff that you could buy from DC. He's like the best of that, but the thing that keeps me coming back to Ross isn't his technique, because he's just using photos and all that. It's really, I think it's what he's trying to do is lock a particular feeling and a particular time in comics in stone, where you can't get this in movies. You can't get there's always some office politics or whatever that you can't do, whatever. He's actually doing like the love letter to these particular creators and time periods and stuff, and doing it pretty accurately, and he, I don't know, he gets the characters. Like, I'm not a huge superhero fan. I like them, but it's more about the spectacle and stuff. I'm more drawn to this kind of stuff story-wise. But when you see guys like him and Paul Dini think about, good character moments, like the idea of Superman trying to end world hunger, and how difficult that is, even for a guy like Superman. Yeah. That really makes you think, like, oh wow, like.
What was the Hulk Rain story? I think someone asked.
Man, it's just Hulk versus the Rain, and I'm not. It's in one of those.
And it's Alex Ross.
No, it's James Kachalka. That's okay. James Kachalka. But I was just making the point that I like when superhero stories are done where they make you think about things that you're not thinking about. I grew up on superhero stories where they're just punching the crap out of each other, and there's a big bad guy, and he's world domination. But there's all of these little stories that sprinkle around the edge. Like there's a Batman black and white that what's his name? Not Kyle Baker. I forget his name. He does a crazy art style, but when you read the book, it's Batman in a morgue, and he's looking at this Jane Doe, and he goes on a investigating clues scraping the dirt out from underneath her fingernails and analyzing it, and then finding out. And at the end of the movie, or at the end of the story, at the end of the story, the whole purpose of his investigation was to just give her a name, is to find out who she is. And then he writes her name on the tag and crosses out Jane Doe. And I'm like, God, that's an amazing Batman story that, you don't normally think about that, but he's the Dark Knight detective. So I'm really drawn to that kind of stuff where you humanize these characters in a way that's interesting, and they're trying to humanize them now in these dark ways and bring them down to our level. And it's like, no. There's other ways to explore that idea, and like something as simple as Hulk versus the Rain is such an original look in a different way of these characters that rings true, because we know that Hulk is like the more angry he gets, the stronger he gets, and then he can destroy anything. But how do you fight the Rain? It gets your mind really cooking.
It's a hysterical concept for sure. It's so classic.
Yeah, but James Kochalka does a book called Super Fuckers.
How do you spell his last name? Or
it's like Kochalka, Kochalka,
like Chalka.
He does a book called Super Fuckers.
Okay,
so look that up and you'll find it.
You only get that kind of information here, friends.
Yeah, sorry to.
Oh no, I don't care.
Okay.
See, look, what I'll say.
But that's the name of the book. I don't know how to say it.
Sounds like Marilyn Manson co-wrote it.
I guarantee it's not for everybody, because it's a really cartoony and super goofy. But my interests run far and wide.
Did you give those to your friends?
Still rivers run deep. Do what?
I was joking. I said, did you give those to your friend's kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's some.
I had that. I grew up on that stuff.
Sure.
Hold on, I'm going to try to find that Esad Ribic story.
Yeah,
I got it right here.
I'm really enjoying actually looking at the comics. I mean, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I actually have a link to my Twitter in the description box. I've been going through my comic book collection and sharing photos throughout the day of as I organize it. I snap photos and then I'm just kind of spreading them out. But it's been a blast. I actually looking at the actual comics as opposed to digital files is so much funner and so much better, and I love it.
Here, you can look at this while I'm looking. That's my first published work. I'll show you in just a second. Where is this book? I know I got it. I may have to go look when you could show. Oh, look,
Ryan's here.
Hex. Oh, talk about this is the book I was looking for Texeira.
Oh, cool. Oh, I remember Hex.
Yeah, it's like a future version of
futuristic version of Jonah Hex. That's cool.
Yeah, but I love his inking style and stuff on this.
I totally forgot about that book. Now I need to get those. I'm trying to thin the herd, not get more.
I know. That's now I can't. I got to get all the stuff. I think the point is I'm trying to focus now, and I'm going to get the stuff that really matters to me, and not just have everything.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy Jonah Hex just as a hero or anti-hero, whatever you want to call it. I like the character. Oh, nice.
That's not the painted one. I need to go get me a new Judgment on Gotham.
People were bringing up Glenn Fabry too, so we give him a shout out. Like I said, we couldn't cover everyone. I've got like 7 or 8 artists. I don't even think we're going to get through all the ones I have picked, which were recommendations, by the way, from Twitter. So I did pull the books that people asked for. Why
don't we move to that while I look for this Esad book, because I think I got it somewhere, and I think it'll be really fun for people to see his. At least I know his first American painted work. So,
all right. So the first thing that I have, let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on, it's been a while. All right, share screen. Whoa, and application window. All right. First thing we're going to look at on my end is this is going to be a Kev Walker painted ABC Comics that was a recommendation from Twitter. So let me shut this really quick. So this is just the title page, but it's script by Pat Mills, art by Kev Walker, and letters by Annie Parkhouse. Annie.
Yeah, I really dig Kev Walker. He doesn't
Awesome.
he when he's not painting, doesn't he have kind of a Kevin Nolan-y real graphic thing going
Look at
on?
this shit. Kelsey, look at this.
It's pretty cool.
Oh my God.
That's like so 80s metal. It's really hilarious.
Look at this guy's outfit. He's got like some sort of futuristic bong. He might be sucking this guy's junk. Like, does this pipe go to this guy's stomach?
What's that guy's name again? He was in Judge Dredd, the old 90s movie. That's Mean Machine. No, not Mean Machine.
Oh.
Who am I thinking of? He's got a name, though. It's one of the ABC Warriors.
See,
I've really been wanting to get into that universe and go through the Judge Dredd case files. And
these spaceships are so freaky. I love it.
Yeah, they kind of look like some toys I used to have. Like
Black Blood.
What am I thinking of? Like robotics.
Yeah, I remember those. It does have that vibe. All right, let's keep going. We've got so much.
Yeah.
And then it was tough. Like the UK stuff is definitely sometimes more tricky to find in digital files. But this is great. I mean, it's definitely got a little bit of that. I don't know. Bisley is influenced by who, Kelsey or chat? Bisley kind of comes from a couple of artists, right? Like his wackiness.
Gosh, there was a time when I'd have known this.
Let's see if the chat mentions it. But there's an art in 2000 AD that I think Simon is kind of influenced by.
Well, I know a lot of guys are influenced by Kevin O'Neill.
Maybe that's who it is.
Look
at this.
I know he did a lot because there was a huge influence in what he was doing back in the day, but I don't know if that's a direct influence. Yeah, Danny Cruz says Kevin O'Neill, so yeah, maybe that's.
This is nice right here.
Oh yeah,
very nice color.
Kev Walker.
So we'll go through these fast because we've got a grip of files to look through. But I wanted to. Actually, the people were nice enough to make recommendations, so I wanted to definitely hit that. And look, I this is what I always recommend. No matter what video you're commenting on, if there's something that you want to see and you feel like I'm missing your comment, or Kelsey and I are both missing your comment, just put it on the most recent video and say, hey, I watched from a month ago. Can you guys do this or recommend that? And we're more likely to see it on the newest video, so it's always fine. It's not a big deal, and it'll actually help us. I like the lighting here. This actually reminds me a bit of Jim Murray's work.
Oh, that's really good. I love the lighting on the tent from the trees. Ryan Wynn says a little bit Stedman, O'Neill. Ryan Stedman, is that who I'm thinking of a newer one. Ralph Stedman. Yeah.
That's a good observation.
Ryan. Well, there's a lot of, in the 60s, there was a movement of art that Sienkiewicz still kind of draws from today, where they do that squirrely line and rough paint. I'm wondering if any of that had an influence.
It's like Bob Peak and Bernie Fuchs and some Baron Story, and you've got some Francis Bacon.
Yeah, that's true.
It's interesting because if you do any of those styles in comics, most people are going to instantly think of Sienkiewicz. But if you know art and go past Bill's, where's his influence? Quite, they're very in the forefront, and he definitely didn't come up with that in like a cryo chamber.
Yeah, it's just his ability to use it. To tell stories in comics in such a effortless seemingly way, he really keeps the artistic side of it. It's not like he's copying, I'm a mimic. So if I tried to do that, I'd just be copying what I've seen. I think he actually is coming from that pure place where he's found where it comes from.
So we're going to look at a tiny bit of Arkham Asylum.
Yeah,
a request.
That's one of my favorites. That's absolutely one of my favorite all-time books. And some of the imagery still haunts me to this day. It's so good.
Like this, possibly?
Yes. It's just like it's still not, and it wasn't, and it's still not my favorite depiction of Joker. But there's a subtle realness to it, because I think he uses some photo manipulation in his stuff.
Yeah, this is Dave McKean for
people.
So
famous for Sandman covers and Vertigo covers in general.
And he works mixed media like to a ridiculous extent, where he'll build wood boxes, and put, like, flowers in it and paint part of it and stick in a playing card, and they're literally like diorama pieces. It's crazy sometimes how he works.
And I was thinking about that a little in regards to painted comics. And about
look at this page, Kelsey. Look at this one.
I think he actually sculpted that face, because like if you look close, it's almost like carved out of wood.
Yeah. There's a mask or something that he made or something. He's shown photos of it online before. Man, the colors are so beautiful on this.
Yeah, it's man, I had an old girlfriend stole my copy of this book. I had like their first printing of that book.
That bitch.
She swears she didn't steal it. I'm like, I know you took it.
What's her name, Kelsey? Name names.
No. She also took my Dracula, Making of Dracula.
That's the problem with, when you have a relationship go sour. See, this is photos. This is not painted. This is like a photo with some color over it. But still cool. It's like a mixed media. This looks painted down here. The brick wall and this looks like some kind of photo statty stuff.
Yeah, but man, I used to stare at that as a kid. Like, how do you do that? And then, it's just photo repeated over and over and painted over. But it's still cool. Like, it's very interesting.
So the first painted comic book that I ever saw was when I was a teenager. I had a friend who was into comics, and I wasn't into comics at that point. And he showed me Kent Williams' Blood, and it really I was like, "You're into some weird shit, dude. I don't know what to do." Like when it looks like it's painted in like dried blood, too. It's a very freaky book.
I'm actually a big fan of Kent Williams. I love his painted stuff, but I love his ink work is very much like a try to think of that guy's name.
What is he famous for? Can you give me any piece of tidbit of information? I'll try to guess.
He did Enemy Ace, I think, a painted version of that.
Oh, is it? It's not John Bolton.
George Pratt. That's what I'm thinking of.
Pratt's great.
Yeah, if you look at like George Pratt's inking, there's a lot of Kent Williams in that stuff.
Pratt is kind of like the godfather to those guys. That's how I've seen him. Is he's a bit of a mentor figure. God, this is a beautiful page. I don't even remember this.
Oh wow, yeah. Look at the way he does Gotham is terrifying. Those are buildings.
Yeah, that is really cool looking.
They're so big that light doesn't even touch most of it. It's just dark.
Yeah, very monolithic. Damn, that is cool.
That would be a Gotham I'd love to see in film. Just these, like you say, monolithic, cavernous, dark. That's Gotham.
Yes, sir. Kelsey, we have so much fun on Sunday. I'm actually funny. So after this, I have to do 2 reviews for Patreon, like kind of a lesson and then a review. I need to go to the grocery store, and then I'm going to have a beer, and I'm going to watch this back. That's my afternoon. I'm going to reward myself with a beer, a big beer, the size of a small child.
I love a cold beer in summertime, man. It's so good.
I throw them in the freezer and let them get slushy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've never done that. What's your beer? What kind of beer you like?
You know what? I'm actually allergic to hops, so I have to be kind of selective of what I have. I'm gonna have the green can Foster's, it'll get a lot of booze because people hate Foster's.
The beer.
The green can. Australians hate that beer more than anyone. But yeah, the green.
Really?
Oh yeah, because it's not Australian.
Oh, okay. Foster's, the beer. I always remember that commercial.
It'd be like crediting French fries to the French.
Freedom fries. How dare you?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I actually, it's funny, is I'm gonna make burgers and fries for dinner tonight. Something easy so I can relax.
That sounds really good. I might
Yeah,
do
right.
that
A
too.
good hamburger you cannot beat.
Yeah. Do you grill it or do you do pan fried?
Sometimes I grill it. I wouldn't. My wife and daughter are both vegetarians, so I wouldn't do the grill just for myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
I've been pan frying them too. They're a little juicier sometimes if you do them right.
Yeah, you got to get the char on them though. You get the pan hot as shit,
Yeah.
and it'll get the charcoal. Okay, so
This is where you get your barbecue techniques from.
dude. I honestly, I don't know if I ever worked harder than I have in the last like 5 weeks professionally. It kicked my ass. We're gonna do some aliens. John Bolton painted. This is gonna be badass. This was a Kelsey recommendation.
Oh no, this is John Bolton did the.
Who is this?
This is Dennis Bouvier.
Oh, is it Marge Bouvier's brother?
I don't know, maybe, but this is another book that not many people seem to know about.
I have this.
Oh, do you?
Oh, hell yeah, I have these.
The lighting. This came out after I think the second movie. I think, but the lighting and the technology that he's showing off in this book.
Yeah,
carries on in that, so it's almost like a new movie. You're if you read it and really get into it, the lighting is so good. I mean,
these comics you could definitely, if you have a local comic book store, you could find these more likely in the dollar box, like in the dollar bins. Luckily,
that's where I got a lot of my comics. To be honest with you.
My local comic book store is called SoCal Comics. It's my favorite in San Diego. And the great thing about Jamie's shop is that he actually organizes his dollar books, or you know what I mean? Like they're alphabetized. So it's
nice.
Yeah, and like I went in one time and I bought like 50 copies of like Cerebus because I was on this like Gerhard trip and I wanted to see Gerhard and then Sim is a great cartoonist too.
He's also one of the best letterers you'll ever see.
Oh my God.
He hand letters all that stuff.
So I'm going to play with the levels on this just a little bit to get this a little more sexy, as Todd McFarlane would say.
Yeah.
They're a little bright.
Yeah. Do you remember, you have the originals, so are you doing it based on like what you...
Yeah, well, I mean, or just what looks cool, what I think will look nice. I mean, you can clearly see the newsprint is like kind of faded, or it's like just the brightness of the scan.
I'm gonna find this book. God help me.
What book?
I'm still looking for the Assad book.
Oh, okay.
It's worth it. We're gonna look at it. All right. Yeah. So, some of this stuff is a little faded because they used that porous paper. I mean, it wasn't. What do you call it? Sealed? No.
Like a
gloss
finish on it or something.
Yeah, when you have paper like that, it could still be matte, but if it has certain way of doing it where the colors are more represented.
Look at this dude on the dolly.
Yeah, that's like Bishop in the end of the movie. Second movie was ripped in half. I think this takes up after the second movie.
Oh, dude. Like his stuff is a little cartoony for it to be like super scary, but man, and these aliens look a little short, even though I think it's these people in the foreground make them look small. But dude, if you walked into a room and there was all these aliens in these chambers like this, dude, that would be so freaky. Oh my God.
If you actually want a truly disturbing alien story, read Aliens Labyrinth by Jim Woodring and Killian Plunkett.
Okay.
That is a really interesting and scary and disturbing take on the Aliens franchise. It haunts you.
This is awesome. So it's funny you saying that. I literally had a flashback to another super fun Sunday. It might have been the last one that we did, where you asked me if I would be happy doing like one comic forever. And when you talk about like Killian Plunkett and some alien story, all of a sudden that there's that part of me that goes, man, I would love to, like, I would just make up my own alien though. I don't want to do companies, but something like that. Oh my God, that would be so fun.
Yeah. Unless I had a book where I could explore lots of different things, and I guess you can, but
wow, this is a great page.
I don't know. I like different feels. This has a totally different feel than Judgment on Gotham.
This is a great page. Jeez.
Yeah.
I would buy this original, to be honest. Like, if I saw it for sale and I had the money, I would actually buy this.
I wonder if he still got him. He's on Facebook. I reached out to him not that long ago and kind of tried to bring some traffic his way.
Yeah. We could have him on the show. I wanted to do 20 guests for 20,000 subs. So that's the goal, is to have 20 people on.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to start doing giveaways. I'm going to steal something from my comic book collecting community. They do a lot of giveaways on their channels. So I think it's time to start giving some stuff away.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
The only thing that's scary about that is international shipping is...
Oh, yeah.
So I need to get some money saved up first, but I'm definitely down to do it. Look, this is really nice, Kelsey. I'm glad you picked it. This is fun.
If you did memberships, you know, that you can kind of have it pay for itself. So I think that's how like Ethan gives trading cards away for people that subscribe.
Oh, right.
So I think it kind of ends up paying for itself. You're basically paying for the card, and you get the service of, you know, whatever he does in the.
Man, this is really cool. So last night I was watching a show, and they were doing comic book raffles, and was $15 shipping for US and $27 for Canada. And I was like, man, 27 for Canada is brutal. But I know Canada doesn't mess around, man. I think it's hard for people to live up there because it's expensive to get shit shipped there. Okay, so we're going to do a few more of these, and then we're going to get to another book because we've got a lot to go through. So, and this is, who's the artist again on this? Marge Bouvier?
No, Dennis Bouvier.
Dennis Bouvier.
And it's spelled like, when you look at it, it looks like Bouvier or Bouvier, but it's pronounced Bouvier. Man, in fact, his name might be Denis Bouvier, to go with the full French Canadian.
Do you think he has freedom fries or French fries?
And, he might be he's probably a vegetarian. No grease. Oh, wait. Fries are veggies.
God, this is great, man. Dude, look at this top panel. The lighting on the alien.
Man, I just, I got a lot in my early days.
I like that Kelsey's still looking for the Ribic book.
It's worth it. If I could just find it, it'll be worth it. This book did a lot for me in color. Like, if you look at his like purples and greens and oranges, I got a lot of that from his series. He also did some covers for when Dark Horse was doing Starship Troopers. He did some really. You talk about painters that look almost like it's not real, like Alex Ross. It just looks like that's his stuff was like that for me. Where I'm just like, how do you even do this? You know, how do you apply color like this?
Wow, this is cool. Okay, so we're going to look at one more page of this, and then we're going to go on to the next artist.
It's kind of close to the Iron Empire stuff I was showing. That's what's really interesting.
Okay. All right. What do we got? What's the last one? Okay, so we are going to shut this, and now we are going to look at dun dun dun. Let's do Meta Baron. I saw someone in the comment section ask for a little bit of Jimenez, so we'll look at a few.
Oh yeah, God, yeah, love Jimenez, man.
Let's do.
He did another book that scared me. I'm all on this horror kick because I'm kind of coming up with some horror comic ideas, and I was been thinking about it. Jimenez did this story that I remember from Heavy Metal about a Vietnam vet. I don't know. It terrified the crap out of me when I was a kid. Jimenez.
Now I don't. Is this penciled and then dyes over it, or what paint do you think this is?
I think he's watercoloring. But
is there an ink line?
There is an ink line, but I don't think he's doing it on an overlay situation. Like, I think he's doing it right on the board.
Right.
He's one of those guys, like, I'm just not sure. The technique is so solid where I'm not actually sure, because you see how the background fades out. That's not an ink overlay on that.
Right.
That's painted or at least penciled. Yeah.
It looks like just the pencil drawing still. And then probably what he does is stuff in the foreground. He outlines a little bit more to make it sort of move forward.
You got a couple super chats you probably can't see. I hope I didn't miss any. We might have to go look again. But Jasper Plan 9 for $9.99. My gosh. Ding, ding, ding.
Jasper. I know. What does he have a question?
He says, thanks for the entertainment, brothers. Thank you, Jasper.
Dude, thank you guys for being here. I told Kelsey I was on the edge of an anxiety attack before we started before we went live. I was
once you get going, it's all good.
No, you know what it is like, do you ever you work so hard that when you stop, like you can't mentally and physically stop?
Yeah. I do that every week for the Jack show. I'm like, oh God, I gotta shift gears. One more here. Ryan Wynn for $10. Bing, bing, bing.
Man, Ryan, thank you so much. Do you have a question, Ryan?
He says, put this towards the giveaway.
Okay, thank you very much. And Ryan, do you want to promote your books and stuff like that? Like we always say this too. I like anyone is welcome to promote what they're working on. If you have a comic book that you're self-publishing, whatever it is, you're more than welcome to put it in the chat. We actually encourage it, and we want you guys to have the ability to get your stuff out there.
Here's another Alex Ross painted book. U.S. Uncle
Sam. Uncle Sam, or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to keep on Jimenez for about 8 more pages, and then we're going to go to the next artist. Look at this, Kelsey.
I really want to. Yeah. Oh my God. See, this is going to be one I'm going to have to look back on too, because
this is Meta Baron issue 5, I believe.
I actually don't. I'm not as familiar with his Meta Baron's work. This is pretty amazing. Look at that.
There's
it's like digitized, but not.
I think there's 6 hardcover books that you can get. There's probably more, but there's 6 that are this series. Maybe it's more, actually. Thinking about it, I think I had 6, and there might have been 8.
God, this is so like.
This one's got a handsome guy with here. I'll show the cover really quick, just so.
I never got into reading these. I know Jodorowsky. The few things that I have read of his are like super bizarre. Yeah, look at that. That's me when I win.
This is Kelsey in like 8 more years.
Yeah, when I go full gray. Yeah, of course I'll have to get a wig because I'm gonna have like Gallagher baldness.
If you look, this looks like a piece.
Yeah.
I think he's wearing a system.
That's true. He's got technically advanced hair.
Yeah, I didn't see scalp. That's always the key. Bald guys know. Trust me. All right, so continue. Look at this page.
Well, anyway, yeah. What I was saying is Jodorowsky seems impenetrable for me sometimes because his ideas are so out there. But again, part of me is like, that's what comics are about. It's about doing things that are beyond, what you can do in any other form. He goes for broke. So I appreciate that. I want to dig into his stuff more.
Have you watched El Topo?
No, but I tell you what, I saw his Dune documentary and I thought he was both a nutcase and extremely brilliant and fascinating at the same time. And that's a great combo for a comic book guy.
El Topo is a wild ride. This is a beautiful, I love this middle panel with the ship and then the colors changing here.
Yeah.
In particular right here is really, really nice looking.
We've got another super chat here from Jasper Plan 9, bringing it down a notch, $1.99. Thank you very much, Jasper.
Thank you so much, Jasper.
He says, show Chiodo's Harley and Ivy.
Oh, okay.
That's another. I forgot about that. He also did a Black Widow painted book. I forgot all about that.
Can you grab any of that stuff right now, Kelsey, while we're looking at this?
Yeah, let me do that. That's how we'll have to wait.
Yeah. Since you couldn't find it anyway.
Yeah.
Because we'll look at another book while you're finding a child. Man, look at this double page spread. It's a little off. I can try to line it up better. You would think these pirates would take more care.
That is a wicked double pager. Wow.
I guess there's a little bit of mind the gap, but it'll at least read a little better. All right.
Yeah, man. Oof.
Sorry, I'll pull out a little bit so you can see it better. Yeah, this is nice. Look at that. Man, this is so badass.
See, for me, this stuff, when I'm looking at it, it just goes beyond the technique. I get lost in the world that they're creating. This is so out there.
It's really nice.
This is like what you'd see in like Ditko, Doctor Strange
Right.
It's just like, wow, it's blowing my mind.
It's now, and you brought up a kind of a fun fantasy scenario. Could you imagine Doctor Strange issue painted by Juan Jimenez? How badass that would have been!
Oh man, so good.
It would have been really interesting. It would have been, I think, quite beautiful. Look at this spread. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Let's go in full screen mode for this, so we have black.
So he's like traveling across space time, probably, and it's like stretching his the fabric of reality or something. I don't know. That's what I'm looking at it.
This is like the beginning of Doctor Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's this colors, and they're running around like on weird blocks and shit. Man, look at down here. This looks like space. This is really, really good, man. Holy macaroni. Jeez.
That's a lot of wet on wet painting techniques to talk about how he's doing that. But like, go to that second panel with
this right here.
Those hard shapes. You kind of have to like mask that off and airbrush. Sure. There's a lot of stuff going on in this double page. This is great.
Well, he it's possible that he could have used splatter. Like you could use a very soft bristled toothbrush and get that mist like that.
You're still masking it off though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 1000%. Definitely. This is really cool too. I like how he does the smooth blends here, and then he paints this more rock like texture on these planes.
Yeah.
Man, this is so good.
Yeah, I need to dig into some more Jimenez.
Oh,
man.
another spread. Wow. I'm getting spoiled here.
Wow. I like the way he's doing spreads. Spreads are something that like you kind of it's a tricky to get the storytelling to work. And I like looking at some of these guys. I mean, this is great. You could totally see how you're supposed to read it. Well, I don't know. Right there, it makes me want to go down that panel and then go over.
Right.
But that's because of the lettering placement, I think, not because of what he's doing.
And now it might also too. Well, maybe he felt it didn't matter. Like you could go from panel 1 to this to the gun, and then you get this explosion. Obviously, the crop makes it a little weird, and then maybe you're supposed to read down here and then through.
Oh, here, wait. We got a super chat from Billy Baxco. How you doing?
Billy?
$2. He says Ashley Wood, Metal Gear Solid, Heart.
Oh, I love Ashley Wood. I'm friends with Ash. Ash is a real good guy. I like him a lot. That's
a digitally painted book, though, right?
The Metal Gear Solid. There's a couple of runs that he did on it. One is paint like digitally painted. He works fast. Ashley's in a way like kind of how you described Esad Ribic, which is
he just gets it done.
He has no fear, and if he does, he's able to like squash it and just go.
I love that. I had a thought one time where I was like, this guy sells his sketches. Like the stuff that I throw into a drawer for nobody to see, he makes an art book out of it. Like why aren't we all doing stuff like that?
No. He's done a few art books too.
He'll put some fancy lettering on it, and it's like suddenly like this brilliant piece. Like what? He took two minutes to draw this, probably.
Yeah, let me. Okay, so I'm gonna open another. Did you find something
brilliant?
If you
did find, if you want to see some of the Joe Chito stuff he was talking about.
So and then what I'll do is I'll grab some ash wood while you're. I'm gonna share your screen, Kelsey. So I'm going to look for some Ashley Wood Metal Gear Solid here while Kelsey's showing this.
First, let me show the Harley and Ivy, because that's the one you want to look at. You got to actually not share my screen. I don't have the actual books. Oh, there you go. Wait, here it is. Harley Ivy. But this is like in its much more like cartoony phase. Like in the end, which I actually dig. I think he was influenced by working with who am I thinking of? Gen 13.
J. Scott Campbell?
Campbell, yeah, because his work took a very cartoony turn after Gen 13. And he started going to very much more like Disney. I actually like this kind of stuff because you can see what he's doing. There's pencil here. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell the technique.
Right.
Yeah, but this is pretty fun.
Well, like I said, I'm definitely going to reach out to Joe and see if I can get him to come on. Brian, well, so we definitely are going to have Brian Haberlin on, which will be really, really interesting. So he's going to be one of the 20 guests.
Check out this Black Widow real quick. This is, you probably seen this book in the bookstore or something. Daredevil, Black Widow, Abattoir. Joe Chito like painted this whole book. So what were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no. I'm looking at the chat, and I'm also checking out the page with Batman different villains.
Oh, I gotta wait a minute. I gotta stop sharing. Oh man, I hate their setup sometimes.
I'm gonna go up and look at the super chats real quick. I can put it in the thing. So I got the Ashley Wood stuff for you, buddy. So Billy, we got that, and then I'm gonna keep reading the super chats here. Let me.
Here, pop me back up. Yeah, look at this. This is from that Black Widow graphic novel. When Epic was doing or Marvel was doing those graphic novels.
Yeah,
this was one of the last ones they did.
One thing I know about Joe Chito is he did in fact share a studio with Bill Sienkiewicz at one point before Wildstorm. I remember Joe telling me that I'm nearly sure that they shared a studio, possibly in New York.
I remember some story where Sienkiewicz or Chito was saying that they could just talk color, color theory for like hours. So, but yeah, this is definitely influenced by Sienkiewicz's work on Elektra Assassin, because you can see some graphic qualities and stuff. But it's still very Chito in his technique and his color, of course.
Yeah,
so intense. I mean, what even is this? How is this even possible?
Oh, right.
I don't even understand what color red that is. It's got magenta in it. It's just fascinating.
He has a wild color palette.
Yeah. So,
so this is a good comment. He says it looks almost Nagel. Nagel was very popular.
Yeah.
And if you were an artist, I mean, I wasn't an artist when I was first exposed to Nagel, but if I would have been, dude, you definitely would have wanted a little bit of that pretty girl face that he could do.
I love this little bit of splatter down here at the lighting. It's just it's very controlled. But yeah, I wanted to show both because it's such a different look than the Harley and Ivy stuff, which he'd gone, much more interested in being cartoony. But I mean, look at this, almost like some Sam Keith, kind of the way he treats Batman,
right?
Very like organically and. But
I like that. I like the colors too.
Yeah, I do too. He did his own book too, I think. Or no. What was it? It was it a Gen 13 or a DV8 or something? He did another painted.
He did a Gen 13 one shot, or maybe it was Danger Girl. Was it Danger Girl?
Danger Girl.
Farben may know. I think he did I want to say he did a painted Gen 13 thing.
Yeah, but I like both. It's just different style, different. He's going for a different feel, but I do love his color. Just is really what makes it sing. All right, you got something to show?
I do. We're gonna look at Ashley Wood. So let me share my screen.
All right, now I can keep looking for my Assad book.
Yeah. I picture you like your shirt's off, you're like all sweaty, like you've completely like fallen.
I'll get it here somewhere.
Yeah, I think now I'll find it. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Now the shirt comes off when we get to see it.
So now some of these are mixed media. So as we look at it, not all of it is painted, and I'm not 100% sure that all of it is traditional. This looks digital to me, but we'll see.
I kind of like that, just do whatever to get the thing. You want.
Look, Ash does this a lot too, and I know this influenced Ben Templesmith. But I mean, Ash will start a piece one way and then finish it digitally, and then draw on the printout. I mean, it's like whatever he needs to get the look that he wants.
Yeah.
So, but he's great. If you're a big fan of Ashley Wood, I've done a couple of very, very long videos on Ashley Wood, and the reason that I did it was because there was not very many Ashley Wood videos on YouTube. I really felt that there was a lack of Ash on there, so I took the ball and spiked it.
Man, I know we're trying to do painted books, but I keep running into like Mark Texeira stuff that I'll have to show this off later. But anyway, good.
You have a text monkey on your back.
I do.
Oh man, this is nice. You can see this is an OG.
Yeah, I love the. You know what I like about this? I was a big fan of this series when it came out too, because it was capturing mood more than, like in a weird way, like in when you look at Arkham Asylum, like he's not really concerned with making Batman and Bruce Wayne and Joker look exactly the same in every panel. It's more about the emotion of it, the mood that he's delivering here. So like Solid Snake there, whoever that guy is, I think it's the impression of him.
Yeah.
So you don't really need the detail. I know that's him. It's iconic,
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's really good.
I like this stuff. I also like his page layout. Hell, he's not afraid to do smaller panels in the middle of and leave a lot of empty space.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I really want to explore some of the techniques that he does.
It's real interesting because, I mean, when you work for a company, like if DC hired him or whatever the scenario might be, at some point you kind of have to put your foot down as the artist, because the thing is if you're doing something that's different and the editor is used to looking at, like very traditional comic book stuff, they may not like what you're doing. Ash would just be like, well, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, I do my thing.
But yeah, it's like you really kind of have to stand up for yourself, because it's like people aren't going to get this, where you're like, well, no, this is like more surreal. It's like a mood thing. It's, not everybody is that.
He actually reached out to me once because I used to do like pinup art on a Shane Glines drawing board.
Oh, right.
A lot of us started back then, but he wanted to put my stuff in a book called Sparrow, which it's out there now. I don't know what issue it is, but
yeah, I have
but I was like, man, I don't know why you want me in here. I mean, you got George Pratt in here, and then you got me, and he just goes, I like what I like.
Yeah.
That was his reasoning. So I imagine that's how he talks to the editors. It's like, well, could you do a little bit of this? And he's like, no, I did what I do. Like
Ash likes my work. That's a big compliment, because believe me, he will not tell you that he likes something if he doesn't. But yeah, he's been real complimentary to like my stuff, which I appreciate, because like I said, it means when someone like that gives you a compliment, you're like, wow, okay.
Yeah, especially like because he's like,
yeah, he doesn't mess around.
Yeah, I think he's really been searching his painting side for the last few years, right?
Yeah. He's a big Phil Hale fan.
Oh God, who wouldn't?
Yeah. Phil's been posting a little bit on Instagram. It's fun to see him actually like active online. This is nice.
Yeah, I like Phil Hale. Phil Hale really did a number on comics, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is really cool. It's such fun shapes. See, and that's another thing too, is, I mean, this is a very oddly drawn figure that sometimes an editor might go, why is his arm so long, or why are his feet so square? And you just go, that's how it is in my world. Why is this panel so much more why is this panel so much more cartoony than the other shots? You know what I mean? Like, not everyone's gonna like understand it.
Yeah, I think for me, if
Psycho Mantis, look at this shit.
If it's consistent enough and you're capturing the mood, I don't really sweat the small stuff. Like
look at that.
I'm more blown away by his technique. I didn't read any of this stuff though, because I'm not. For me, I'm not really reading Ashley Wood comics for the story.
Right. No.
There might be some brilliance in there that I don't know about. But
this is nice too. Man, beautiful color choices.
Yeah, so neat. Yeah. It has a potential to look muddy, but it doesn't.
No, it looks good.
Mine would get muddy if I tried some of this. Because I just keep adding to it until it like became dead.
Oh, this is nice. This upper panel with the figure with the like lighter color on it. Man, it's really
yeah. It's a very, speaking of Phil Hale, that looks like
I know.
Phil Hale palette.
I know.
Yeah.
Man, there's almost, I feel like there's like mist over the whole panel. It's so crazy how much atmosphere he got in that shot. Is it like soft edges? What's creating that look that makes it look so? I guess
no line art for one thing. No black
Okay.
line art. You're talking about around just the colors are very, very much very close to each other.
Yeah,
Like
God, it's so good.
It's just enough though. I'd be so worried that in print it would just bleed together and you wouldn't get the difference between the pants. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe if you saw the original, the pants in the background are a lot more different than they look here.
Right.
And they darkened up. That's a possibility, but he did just enough that you could still see it.
I'll reach out to Ash and see if he'll come on. I kind of don't think that he'll be into it, but I could ask him because it would be really, really interesting to talk to him about art.
I don't know that he talks technique. I don't think I've ever seen him talk technique.
Well, I mean, we could talk. I mean, I could present it in a few different ways. Like if he's not into that, like he could come on and we could just maybe talk about art that he likes. Like,
well, I'm very much interested in how he took the reins of his own career at one point, and that's kind of helped start IDW was because of Ashley Wood's artwork a lot, and Ben Templesmith with 30 Days of Night.
Yeah,
and the writer, I forget his name actually. Steve Niles. Those guys created that. I don't know what it is now, but
yeah.
They helped define what I remember as being a particular comic book style, and IDW. That's where you got it, and it was because of those guys, Ashley Wood. And
if you look at Ash's earliest work, it's completely like Chris Bocello cartoony stuff.
Yeah,
it's so weird. But like then he got into J League, like almost like the Ghost Rider 2099 kind of look.
Yeah,
and from there he was just off to the races. But yeah, the first like year or so that you see him work professionally, it's interesting because he went from the very like kind of fun Chris Bocello style to Bacalo to like way more gritty. Because I'm almost thinking that Ash went on to Ghost Rider 2099 for a while.
Yeah, I think so. I keep running into his stuff occasionally, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know he did that.
Okay,
I just know he did a long run on Spawn stuff,
covers. So let's get into another artist now, so we don't completely just focus on one thing. So
keep it moving, Rich. Keep it moving.
That's all right. I got plenty. Do you want to do Typhoid Mary, Rocket Man? Let's do Requiem. A few pages of this Requiem vampire book. This was a Twitter. This is pretty cool stuff. I think I've shown some of this art before, actually.
Here's that other Christopher Muller book, JLA League of One. It's like a fantasy. Oh wow, what is that?
So this is Olivier Ledroy, I would believe is how you would pronounce his name, Pat Mills, and this is called Requiem. Here, I'll open the cover of the book so you can see.
Man,
this is Requiem Vampire Knight.
I was about to say Joseph Linsner would be proud. It looks like a Cry for Dawn kind of stuff.
Right. He's great too, honestly.
Yeah, that's another one. I didn't even think about him.
Yeah, he does the cutest girls, and man, he paints so good.
He did some great painted books.
Yeah, I saw him at Comic-Con, the last San Diego Comic-Con. He was like right at the end of an aisle that I seemed to constantly walk down when I was going in or out, and
he's still doing a lot of stuff. I think he's been doing a lot of like Marvel stuff actually for over the last several years.
Is it pronounced Marvel? I thought it was Marvel.
Marvel.
That's kidding. I'm just joking. It's Sunday fun day. Let's laugh. Whoa. See, this makes people sensitive. They don't like to see the like swastika in comics anymore. But it's always presented as bad guys.
Oh, what about the Iron Cross? I mean, they got that presented there too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's not as bad though.
Nazis are the ultimate bad guy, so it's a very tempting. Like if you're trying to think of like something creepy, that's where
I like that. the Nazis are a good bad guy, but it's like we could go back. What about the Kaiser with his helmet with the little spike on top?
Oh,
That's
right.
a fun look too, with the gas mask and the pointed head helmet.
The Russians were savages too. Man, you didn't want to mess with Russians. Whew. These guys were.
Yeah, no, well, we can't have bad guys like that anymore. So
The Japanese, before World War II, they were trying to like take over everything. It was crazy.
Rich, this is getting very racist.
No. I'm just saying that like we've all done crazy stuff.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's just history.
Yeah, no, I know. But I mean that's the comic book villains and stuff like that. You can really pull some great stuff from all those different events.
What is this book? Are they in hell? This is
insane. I'm trying to remember what issue this is. This is a little further along.
Wow.
But it's
really good. That looks very laborious. This stuff, the character designs in themselves look like each panel looks like a cover for Iron Maiden. I mean,
that's what I was going to say. It looks like Eddie's got his own comic book.
Yeah, that's something else. I have to go look at that.
I've done some videos on this. Oh, look at this spread, dude! This is awesome.
Oh wow. Yeah. Gosh, man. That's a lot of red. He bought him out of red that day at the art store.
Do you think this is cadmium red or is this like scarlet red?
I don't know.
Cadmium, you have to watch out for that. Some of those are toxic paints.
Oh, funny.
So some of this is you know what? No, this is on the original. This is actually painted down. This logo does not look to be this. No, maybe not. He could have done this with paint, though. It's a shame that he didn't.
What do you mean?
Some of this photography. I was for a second. I some of it looked like it wasn't on the art, and I thought this might have been hand painted, but it doesn't look.
That'd be sweet if it was.
Yeah, Stankiewicz would do stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. Look at the design in the red behind the skull, going around the skull.
Yeah,
it looks like the same.
It's hard to tell. Oh no, this is like an overlay.
See? Oh, it is.
It's an overlay because this is like pencils.
You could see the white edging.
Yeah, he kind of did an invert. It looks like. Well, maybe not even an invert. I don't know.
Wow, that's still good. It is hell. Look, hell.
Oh, so the artist I was thinking of earlier when you were showing those books at the beginning of the video, there was one with snow on the cover, and I kept trying to remember Matthew Lafray.
Lafray, yeah.
Yeah, like he's got that one book with the snow on the cover and that like the houses. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's. I used to say Mateo, but I think it's Matthew. I think it's just the French spelling of Matthew.
Yeah,
Lafray or something.
Yeah. Okay, now we have to get into Bisley real quick.
Yeah.
People are gonna kill us if we don't look at Simon Bisley. Hopefully, they're still around.
I'll kill us if we don't. He's
fragtastic.
He still does it for me, man. Oh, is that Frag? Is he here?
No. Well, I meant because frag is like
oh yeah.
I consider it like a Bisley sound effect.
Don't be a bastich.
It's a logo thing. It's funny because
Frag and bastich.
It bothers me that I always call Dan Fraga, but I said it for so long, and I know it's Fraga now. So it's like I have to like kind of go, come on, Fraga. You know this, Rich. It's not Fraga. Fraga.
I always think of it. He does his Sega thing. Sega, like Fraga.
Exactly. All right, so here we go. Look at this beautiful Bisley. Let's just go full screen mode. Simon wouldn't want it any other way. He's such a great artist and such a good painter and draftsman.
Yeah, I just don't like. There's some things in his technique. Like I think I got it down. Like I think he does the pencils and inks. He does some like washes, to kind of establish some bases, and then he goes in with opaques and just kind of builds up the highlight areas, and then he throws in some like color pencil and stuff for like final touches. But it's easy to say that and then have it come out like this. And I think he does very limited airbrush. I think people think he does a lot. I think he's just hitting a little bit on the highlights, and then occasionally he'll have like an airbrush, some technique for a background or something. But I don't think he uses as much as people think.
there's a similarity in personalities that a lot of these painters have that I'm starting to realize. And follow me here for a second with this. So think of Frazetta. We've got Bisley. We've got Ribic, Ashley Wood, Mark Texeira. All these guys are kind of alpha, like just, you know what
Macho
I mean?
man, painter.
Yeah, but like there's a
intensity.
Like I don't give a F kind of sort of. Maybe you need that to be a comic book painter.
I think you do. I mean, there's a story. And it could be.
Alex Ross would be the one that you would consider more manicured.
It could be hyperbole, but I heard a story that Bisley said that he got to a point on this book when he was doing a page a day.
Wow.
So if you can imagine, I mean, he's got his technique down by that point. He'd done all of Slain.
Yeah.
He'd done tons of cover work. So he has his technique down pat, you know.
God, this is really it's starting to get me fired up, Kelsey. I'm feeling fired.
Incoming super chat.
Oh, what do we got?
Shintori, $5. Thank you very much, Shin.
Oh, thank you so much.
If we're not just doing traditional Stejpan Sejic. I never can mention that name, but he is amazing. Yeah, I really.
Stefan Sejic. I almost picked a couple of books from him. I want to say that there might be some stuff that he's done traditionally, though. I don't know if it's all digital, because I did actually. Right. I looked him up before I did the video last night, and he's great.
I really dig his stuff. Yeah. Boy, look at the colors are insane on this.
Yeah, I was following him on DeviantArt as he was starting to pick up a lot of steam. And,
I was too. And then I kind of tuned out when he got his first work in like Top Cow and stuff. I don't know. I wasn't as interested, but then he started doing a much looser style.
Yeah.
Now, and I don't know. It got my attention again. I've always been a fan of his, actually.
If you're a fan of Bisley's paintings and you want to see some higher res scans of the actual artwork itself, I would highly recommend you go to Heritage Auctions, which is ha.com. You're going to need to sign up to see the completed auctions. You can go in the completed auctions and actually look at some pretty high res scans of the actual paintings, and you can see a decent amount of more detail and stuff like that. It's worth it if you're a Bisley fan, because there's a nice amount of art up there. It'll take you a while to go through it all, but it's
if you don't want to sign up, you can go to Google and search the exact thing, and sometimes it'll pop up at full size in the.
I signed up. Engine. I mean, they don't really spam me or anything, so it's not.
Yeah, it's Heritage Auctions. They better watch their thing. They're kind of a big deal, aren't they?
They become even a bigger deal. In fact, I guess they do Sunday comic book auctions now. I'm really into the comic book collecting community. Like, that's my new. Like, I'm hyper focused on like fans and collecting comics. I just think it's so fun, and that enthusiasm makes me proud to be a comic book artist.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of years ago. It's funny you brought this up, because I kind of stopped, but I was watching these YouTubers who were talking about the back issues and the value of them, and I was like, this feels like the speculator market, or at least fans or people that care about the old stuff and the value of that, is coming back in a way. Oh gosh, we missed an important comic book painter, is Dan Burton.
Oh yeah,
Dan Burton has done a ton of great painted comics.
So he's from like some weird small town up quite a ways north from me, but
he's past San Francisco. He's up in the mountains or something, right?
Yeah. One of my neighbors grew up in the same town, and she goes, I know a guy that does comic books. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'm like, who? And usually they'll say a name and you're like, I don't know who that is. And there'll be some that worked at Disney, like 25 years ago, that was like, and it was him. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Because I've been a fan of his. Did you do a book called Nocturnal, or what was it called?
Well, Nocturnals, and then he's done a few things. He's also done a bunch of graphic novels and stuff for DC, and
sure.
Yeah.
That was the first work that I saw of him. Was him? He was on Nocturnals.
I love his aesthetic. It's like Halloween, gothic, but in a fun way. He's just got a great style. Hey, Zaid Comics for $2. I've heard of Bisley before. Great show, guys. He's being a little coy because he actually got a Simon Bisley cover for his book, The Lost Pages.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, it's really great. I have a poster of that somewhere.
You put a link if you want to put a link to the book. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, Bisley's badass.
Yeah, do you have any moderators? They're the only ones that could post links.
Oh, well, I can come out for a second here. Let me see. Did he post the link?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he can. Am I a moderator?
Lost Pages. So it's Lost Pages 2. I can Google it in a sec. I'll do it.
Was it 2? I think Lost Pages 1 is the one that has the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's doing 2 now. So sign up for that. Yeah, if you could post a link for that, it'd be great. Okay, do you have a? I think if he doesn't, he should be smacked in the head. But hopefully, there's a way to get the first one with the second one if there's a deal.
Oh, okay, right. That's Malin doesn't do that, right? Malin only does one.
I think he'll do. I think he'll do it where you can get the other ones, but once the campaign's over, that's it. I guess I don't. Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
I was kind of laughing the other night. I was like flipping through YouTube and I saw that him, Cecil, and that Star Wars girl were live. So I was like, oh, I'll see what they're talking about. And it was funny is they were talking about John Dolmayan, but he kept pronouncing his name wrong. It was like he kept calling him. Oh God, I can't remember how he pronounced it, but it was kind of cracking me up.
John DeMai. I don't know who is John DeMai.
He's the drummer of System of a Down, but he's he's a big comic book collector. He's got a store out in Vegas called Torpedo Comics. It's huge. Like he's basically the new Mile High Comics.
Oh,
yeah. His goal was he wanted to own like 1 million comic books, and he just went for it. But he's got like an insane. I mean, you go to Comic-Con and look at his back wall; it's nuts.
My dream as a youngster was to have my own store and to just be like hanging out there drawing Spider-Man or something for Marvel. You know, be a professional and hanging out in the store. But things don't work out like that.
Well, McFarlane used to have Spider's Nook. Did you ever hear that?
No.
Yeah, so McFarlane used to have a comic book store, I guess in Arizona, called Spider's Nook. I know it's called Spider's Nook. I can't remember. I believe it was in Arizona, but he had a store there for years.
That's cool. Yeah, I know that the Jay and Silent Bob guy has a store called the Secret Stash.
Yeah. Yep. That's up in LA, or was.
Yeah.
My mom even knows who Todd McFarlane is. That's kind of funny. I always laugh at that. It's like the one comic book artist. My mom might even be watching this. Sometimes I think she lurks. Mom, are you out there?
My mom, she's heard me talk about a few of these people over the years growing up, and so like when I'll sometimes mention, oh, Jim Lee's got an art book coming out. She's like, Jim Lee, like that name registers. Like I know that name. It's
mom's taking an interest in what the kids are doing. I think it's cool. She's very proud that I'm working with Joe Satriani. She immediately Googled him to see what he was about.
She's like, "Oh, this is good, Rich. You're doing good."
I'm done. I've done 52 pages of Crystal Planet. I'm so proud of myself. I have 2 books done. There's 3 to go. I'm going right into the 3rd issue. My goal is to have all the pages drawn by the middle of September, at the very latest, the end of September. And then I'm going right into Blaster Kid. So for people waiting for that, it's, I'm producing a lot of work right now, and it'll only improve my drawings. So it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm
Kelsey's still looking for the Ribic book, by the way.
I am. I'll be very disappointed if we end this show and I haven't found that book. That's got to be a win for me here.
You're gonna be covered in like feces and like your hair is all like stuck up.
Where do you think I'm living? Oh my god!
Well, no, I'm just saying, because you're working so hard to find this book.
Be covered in ink, Rich. Ink.
Right, ink. Yeah, right. Ink. Oh my God, I stabbed myself with a crow quill the other day, inking one of my pages, and gave myself a nice tattoo.
Oh, like,
You know,
how
well,
long does it stay there? What do you mean?
some are permanent. Like you get like dots from it. You know, if you stab yourself good with a Hunt 102, it's just like giving yourself a tattoo. You didn't know that?
No, I never stabbed myself with the
What?
Hunt 102.
But
No, never.
do you ink with a 102?
No, I ink with a brush.
Oh, well, there you go. Have you ever stabbed yourself in the eye with a brush? No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. No, the worst thing you get with a brush is when you lick it off thinking it's clean. You know how like when you rinse it off and then you do it through your mouth to kind of
Sure.
make the point. Well, I've done that with ink on it on accident, thinking I
won't say the inker's name, but one time I was talking to someone and they had their brush in their hand and they put it in their mouth and like sharpened it like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was a really weird thing to see.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do and realize you just did. And you're just like, oh, I love that. That'd be a great poster. Oh, I like the one with the bunnies and stuff. When his fear is like stuffed animals.
Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. It's I wish that Bisley had a little bit more of an online presence. He seems like he would be fun online. He's just old enough to be like fuck the internet. You know what I mean?
I know he would be trouble on the internet. I'm glad he's not, to be honest.
Oh right.
He wouldn't understand, I think.
Okay, so we'll do like 3 more pages of Bisley, and then we're gonna go into one of the other books.
Yeah, how long have we been on now?
Oh, I don't know. We'll do 2 more artists really fast, and
hour 56. Yeah, we can do a few more. I'm getting hungry too, man. I need to eat before I do these because you're like 10 o'clock and it's like noon for me. So
right. I mean, you can always have a sandwich under your desk,
like Captain Lou Albano. I'll pull it out of my jacket.
Sure. Now I want a sandwich. Damn it. You know what? Like you don't probably get. I don't know if there's like popular now. Is like a good sub sandwich, like a deli sub sandwich with like. Oh man, that's so good. I haven't had one of those in years.
What do you mean you can't get them? You don't have like a good.
No, I mean, most delis are like, it's like you get like a turkey sandwich on some sort of bread. I'm talking old school, like where it's like salami and like one of those, where it's like, well, you need a
there was a sub shop in like Cloud Subs or something that was pretty good. They were like trying to compete with Subway, I think, but they were really good. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like these traditional, where they're probably even cutting the cold slices off the slab of beef in the back.
Sure. Oh man, sounds good.
That's so great. Now I'm hungry. I can't focus.
I know. Like comics and food. All right, so here, I'm going to shut all these real quick, and then we're going to get into another artist.
All right.
Everybody's got these books. If you don't have Batman Judge Dredd, you definitely want to pick that up.
Yeah, I keep. Is there an oversized version of it?
I have the oversized. Yeah.
Is it good? The printed?
It's probably my go-to. It's not that much bigger than the normal size, but I would say it's maybe 2 inches taller and an inch wider.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a tremendous book. Now there may be another one you're referring to. Do you want to do the John Bolton Army of Darkness?
Oh yeah, that's one not many people have seen. I don't think.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with this, Chet?
I wasn't.
John Bolton. Yeah, John Bolton is he's kind of, he does a lot of horror stuff, so it was kind of a no-brainer.
A lot with DC, like that's where I kind of know him from. Here, we'll start at the beginning. All right, so this is Army of Darkness movie adaptation.
What a name, huh?
Sam Raimi, Ivan Raimi, John Bolton from Dynamite Comics.
It's not just a clever title. Yeah, this is what I like about it is like it's not, he uses some photo ref from the show from the movie, but it for a large part of it, it's mostly just doing his version of it.
Yeah.
And, it's just really cool seeing. I like his paint style because of his use of black too.
Right. I was really admiring the way that he did this guy's head, and just that goes to black on the side looks very, very cool.
Yeah, like when I started painting about this time, I was really trying to be a painter as well, and I couldn't understand how they would do things like this. And I was like, it always looks so faded and stuff. Well, you just gotta go to town to actually draw it black, and
right.
But yeah, this is good. And he also did a lot of weird flesh tones. Like if you see all the different colors in the skin, you'll see that in the interiors too, where it's like he'll have blue and green and purple and red and all like defining these skin tones. It's right. It looks real,
Yeah, like you've got this like peachy color, some blue, like you said, green.
Frazetta, you'll see this in Frazetta stuff too. And I remember having one art teacher. I didn't have a lot of art training, but I had one art teacher that was trying to tell me that. And I thought she was full of crap when I was a kid. I didn't really understand what she was saying, but she's like, if you look at skin tone, it's like every color. And I was like, yeah, lady, sure. But then now I see what she's talking about. Like there are in the shadows, there's purples and greens and things in the highlights. There's oranges, reds, just in everything, it's like I like that guy in the background. He's got this like kind of aqua color on his cheek. It's like I don't know. It doesn't look wrong, but it's like, what's motivating that?
This guy looks like one of Frazetta's Neanderthal guys.
Yeah, Fabry does that too. Hans Roger was saying little. Yeah, Beasley's.
What is
Beasley's Doom Patrol covers? Yeah, what now?
What is the technique down here? Would this be an
I think that's just no, that's just toothbrush, I think.
Okay.
But it could be. It could be because I do see airbrush over on the left with a little bit of that smoke.
Okay, interesting.
I see right at the very bottom left corner. I don't know what that is. It's hard to tell with the printing. Is that? Yeah.
I know there's a lot of colors. It could be like you said, toothbrush splatter that's just been misted on.
Yeah.
And there's some more of it up here.
Well, that's some of those guys that use airbrush. It's so funny, like Patrick Nagel, like everybody assumes he's an airbrush guy, like he did stencils in airbrush. Yeah. He hand painted all of that with acrylics. Man. So that's how he got that flat color, is he just had a tiny brush and he meticulously did it until the whole thing was flat.
These are interesting. Like they're definitely photo reference, but I actually like the way he painted it quite a bit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, there's elements that are straight up from the movie, but then there's also this edge to it that he brings.
It's nice. Sometimes though, when you're working on a licensed property like this, it's almost easier to get stuff approved if you do.
And then look at this stuff. It's creepy. Some of he knows what to focus on that really gets you like.
Yeah,
that's disturbing.
I like this. This panel's nice. I'm feeling with this guy's gun.
I like that he's like Klaatu, Barata. He's like, what is it? Necktie, nickel.
I can't see Bruce Campbell without thinking of Scott Benefield. Do you know Scott?
No. Scott, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Scott Benefield, the artist, he looks just like Bruce Campbell.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh, no, I don't know him personally.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a stand-in for him. He looks just like him, so it's just kind of funny. But man, yeah, it's crazy.
See, that looks like might be some airbrushing in this.
Yeah,
it's just not your traditional way of doing it,
If you have a little water in the airbrush or a little bit of extra air, it'll come out like then bigger pixels. Like dots. That's kind of what it looks like he's doing. This is a really nice page.
Yeah, it's. I like it when you can't really tell the technique. It's like I can kind of guess what's happening here, but I love his wrinkles and stuff too. Because if you look at the pants,
it's awesome.
The hard black shadow with pant wrinkles. When you do it right, it just has such a look, man. I really love that. And that looks like he probably referenced it. I mean, I'm sure he referenced that. I reference every clothes wrinkle I do almost. When you want to do it right, anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it's smart.
I have my fake out ones that I'm like, okay, it goes this way, hook, boom.
Sure.
But yeah, sometimes you just want it to have that weight of clothing.
This is a great little drawing right here with the guy on the horse. Damn.
Yeah, that's one that it doesn't look like it's referenced. It looks like, okay, this is what happens. Let me kind of do my own take on it.
It's really, really nice. God, I mean, this is what I was saying, where it's like, it has a little bit of like a Mignola vibe, but doesn't really look like Mignola at all either.
Oh my God. Angel just brought up a good one. Bram Stoker's Dracula by Fernando Fernandez.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Yeah, he's actually done a few painted things that are really excellent.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to look that up. I've never seen that.
Yeah, we seem to be just kind of doing American and British, but oh my God, if we got into the Italians and the Spanish and the oh my God, it would
I would have done anyone. I mean, like I said, I asked on Twitter for recommendations, and
I particularly wanted to go through some of the ones that like that were real influential for me. This one was one of them. When I saw this, I was just like, wow, it looks so real, but not, you know.
Well, I have those Chinese comic books, and some of the painted paintings, those are insane.
Yeah. Old Hong Kong.
Good. Oh my God, they're so good. And
Indian. Look at that lettering is weird. Clackety clack. No, go ahead.
Sorry.
John J. Muth, he's another one.
Oh, Muth.
I think a lot of these guys were contemporaries, like John J. Muth, Kent Williams, Pratt, this guy, John Bolton. They were all kind of like doing things at the same time. They were the painters, you know, the comic book painter guys.
This guy's good, man. This is really nice. This is so sexy.
Esteban Maroto, yeah, Hans Roger. Yeah, he's another good one.
Look at this. Romance.
Look how it makes a heart.
Oh, it does.
It's on purpose.
Oh.
Well, no, look at it. Between the
the
little romance page at the top.
Yeah, that's clever. If he did that
on light heart.
If he didn't do it on purpose, it's a brilliant thing that his mind was.
The lettering is pretty hilarious. Rockling.
Look, it's that Star Wars girl.
Yeah. Yeah, this woman did like this movie, and then she was in Schindler's List, and then that was it, I think.
I've never seen Schindler's List.
Oh, it's a hell of a movie, but it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones I almost pulled to show because it's completely. It doesn't look like anything referenced, and it's look at how great that.
Yeah. The colors are great on it too. I love how it goes warm to cool.
Yeah, how do you even do that? That's
carefully.
Correctly.
I like he's gonna chomp on his crotch, his mail package.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like usually I know who's doing. Like I know Stealth Reeves used acrylics. I know John J. Muth was like mostly a watercolor guy. John Bolton, I don't have a clue. I mean, a little bit of everything probably.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's probably mostly acrylics, gouache, watercolor, pencils, maybe some airbrush. I don't know.
Yeah, Finch has been doing some acrylic paintings on. I don't know if it's YouTube, but I know I saw on Instagram he had mentioned that they were going to be painting. I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, he did a Captain America. He had another guy on there doing it too. I think he was kind of showing some stuff, but that was fun. I didn't know he was into painting. That's all we need is Finch down to dominate painting. Right. Because he'll get like so good at it that we're just like, what?
Then everyone will have to catch up, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I just gave up.
I don't have time to paint right now.
I gave up trying to catch up to David Finch. He's in his own level.
The thing is Finch draws very well already. So I mean, not that you don't, but I'm saying like for if you're learning to draw, I mean, you could definitely mess around with painting, but it would benefit you to be able to draw well first.
Yeah, it would. Look at that hand and the arm.
Some of this stuff actually looks a little like Finch. It's funny, like some of the drawings on this actually.
I think it's the high contrast top down lighting that he's doing a lot.
Because this little figure right here looks a little like Finch, and this kind of reminds me of Finch too.
Yeah.
Like he's got a little bit of a big head too. Sometimes David's heads will get a little big.
That's something Bolton does a lot, actually. He's got a lot of big head syndrome. And I often wonder if that's because, like this book, he's really focused on getting the likeness down, and then the rest of it probably goes quick.
Yeah. Isn't this from Wrightson? This figure with the eyeball popping out? It's like
I don't know.
It's like a pen and ink piece, I think, that Bernie Wrightson did that has something very similar to this.
I don't know. That'd be interesting if he did a little swipage.
It's Frankenstein. It's one of the Frankenstein plates, I think. I don't think the eye is sticking out, though.
I was about to say, I don't remember. That book was classy. I don't remember eyeballs popping out.
Yeah, right. It wasn't pedal to the metal. Wow, this is nice. Damn, what a great page.
Yeah, good color. The greens and blues. And
yeah,
so neat.
I'm a sucker for green.
Here's an old Ashley Wood.
Oh, hold on. Let me. Oh, wait. We'll look at these last couple. There's one more scan after this. Man, that's really, really kicking.
I still can't find the. I used to save cut out all these covers. Oh, look at this! What are the odds?
Wait, hold on. Oh, did you find Ribic?
No, the Army of Darkness painted poster. While we're looking at the Army of Darkness.
Let me. I'm gonna add you to the. Oh, wait, I have to remove. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Wait. Add to the stream. Okay, I'm gonna make this the picture solo layout. There you go, Kelsey. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Who did that painting? I used to know, and now I can't.
I don't know. It's not Boris. I don't know, but it's so detailed.
Yeah, that's a great painted piece. I can't remember who did that.
There's a hot Sarah Michelle Gellar with milk on her face.
Those milk ads were very weird. Oh,
this is Phil Winslade. Gosh, what's going on here? There we go.
Oh my god, I was dealing with that with poly bags.
I know, they're so slippery.
Oh, god, it was driving me nuts.
I used to just take off the covers. This is Wagner for.
Oh yeah, that's nice. It looks like Zen Intergalactic Ninja.
But I was so into painting, I would save every kind of painted image I could find. Your reference.
Your desk tilted?
Yeah, because so the lighting, you can see the lighting. Oh, and you remember this guy? Harris.
Tony Harris?
No, I forget his name, but he painted like the veiniest arms. You can't even really see it in this.
Funny. That piece reminds me of like something that you would see on like an Intellivision box, like a game
I used to love this Mobius.
Oh, yeah.
This is watercolor.
Very geegery.
Yeah. I'm afraid I must admit defeat.
I like this comment. So Eric says they need to do painted movie posters again. You don't like the photo bashed like Photoshop?
No,
I'm joking. No one does.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I would like, I don't even have to have it look like the characters just, well, this was awesome. But like if you did like even some of these comic level things, like if that was a movie poster, I'd want to go see that movie. I'd be like, what is that? That looks cool.
Well, although I would say comic book covers cover a lot of different ground, because we were talking about Peach Momoko for a second before the video started, or live stream started. But I definitely see a trend of like super like digitally created covers too. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's that one we were looking at before. That's Jim Lee painted by Stelfreeze.
Sorry. This was did Kelsey slice the covers off all these comics? He did.
I did. And then I ended up buying them again because then I found out like Mark Texeira did the interiors of one of them or something like that. I've been merciless on comic books. I am not a collector by any stretch.
Yeah.
I am a collector as far as like I love looking at the stuff and referencing it, but I don't really care about their value beyond why they're important to me.
I have that League of One book. I always like that. Is that Christopher Muller or is that? Yeah. I always like that. I kept that. I had that under my desk at Wildstorm forever.
Chris Muller, doing a huge graphic novel. I mean, the guy is not afraid to do the work. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually, I would highly recommend that. Actually, I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, he's amazing. This each one of these has to have taken several days, so you can imagine how long this book took to do. Look at how great.
Yeah. So for Cross Contour says for Blu-ray re-releases, they're starting to do painted movie covers for companies like Arrow, etc.
Yeah, I got a few of those. I'm really appreciative of that kind of stuff. Criterion's really good about doing recovers, but they're more in the graphic design, which are also really cool. Just not painted. Some of them are, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I guess we'll have to bring out Essad's book in volume 2 of this series if we do more. And yeah, we might have to do a Texeira episode because here's Texeira inked by Scott Williams.
I've
never seen that before. No, but not this one.
What issue of Punisher was that? Let me see that again.
It's the annual, supersized annual.
I've never seen that comic book ever. That's crazy.
Written by Mike Barron.
Nice.
Art by Texeira, Scott Williams, and it's got a great backstory by what is this guy's name? Vosberg, Mike Vosberg.
Oh, interesting.
I used to love his stuff too, but
what was is the Punisher's sidekick is Microchip? Is that his name?
Yeah, Microchip. Yeah, they had because he lost his son, and so he's got revenge, but he's a dumpy nerd guy. So how can he? So he's basically no less fractured than Frank. So they really make a pair. I wish they would do more with him in movies and stuff because there's a great bit in Punisher Warzone written by Chuck Dixon, my favorite writer, especially of Punisher, but where it starts off with Punisher following Microchip, convinced that he's betraying him somehow, and it turns out he was just going to not AA meetings, but meetings to deal with with his son's dying and dealing with his emotions because he knows he can't do that in front of Frank because Frank will, it's you should strengthen up and we got to, he's a real hard ass. So he's secretly, dipping away to go do these meetings, Yeah. It was what an interesting concept, He's trying to not be a wimp in front of Frank, and Frank is,
oh my gosh,
is tailing him, thinking that he's betraying him.
That's a nice little sequence right there with her kicking him, and then the next page, flying. Man, that's great.
There's a bit here too where Flash is running and Superman trips him or something, and it does the same kind of thing where the momentum carries him a mile down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's fun about Chris Muller's stuff is not only is he a brilliant painter and he's really good at storytelling, but he's actually really good at composing action.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't see a lot in comics in general, but painted comics, they're mostly doing the spectacle. But
it's hard for me to tell on the camera, but I can't remember. Is that book is traditionally painted, you would say?
Yes, this is all. He doesn't do any. It's all traditional.
That's crazy. That's high level of.
This is 100 and 102 pages.
Jesus.
Of paint. That's what I was saying. Each one of these had to have taken several days.
Oh my God.
Not to mention how long it took to probably write and then do the layouts, the design. I'm just talking about the execution of painting the page had to take several days. So this was probably a several-year project.
Jeez, please.
It's a big deal. That's probably why it's all prestige. DC put a lot of weight behind it,
Have you ever met him at a Comic-Con or anything like that?
$25 book. No, I haven't, but I'd love to. He's one of my faves. I have everything he's done. And in fact, I even like his pencils and ink stuff. I wish he would do more of that.
Is he online?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Man, he's great.
He's one of those old school guys. I kind of like that. I want to just stay away from the internet. I'll meet you at a convention if I want to meet you.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, you want to wrap it up because we've been going for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm starving. And
Okay,
now I want to go look at all my Mark Texeira stuff. All these painted comics made me want to go look at all my Mark Texeira.
I know, right? Like you said, I've got to do 2 reviews. I'm going to eat lunch right now, and then I got to go to the store, and then I'm going to come home and watch this so I can see the art. And
There we go.
Oh, nice.
Here, zoom in.
Hold on, wait. I'll show a comic real quick.
How do we? This is how we do things here. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff.
Hold on.
Chuck Dixon.
9/8. First appearance.
Oh yeah, I got like 2 or 3 of those things.
I hope the covers are on them.
They are. I do. I keep a few of them.
Here, X-Men fans will like this.
What is that one? I can't see.
X-Men 129.
Is that a Cochran? Who did that cover?
Oh, buddy, this is a kid's show. Don't say words.
No, not Cochran. Cochran.
Oh, okay. Hold on, ready? Watch this. X-Men 129. This is a good one too.
Those are John Byrne issues, right?
Yeah. A friend of mine sold me his collection about 15 or 20 years ago, and he's a huge Byrne fan.
Yeah, like I said, when I went and bought this, like it was like a huge payday for me, and I had a load of cash. I'm like, I'm going to the comic store. So they had my store bundles like story arcs. So this is part 2 of 6. Like they'll have all 6 issues.
I actually really like the Punisher a lot because of that exact thing, which was as a new collector, they always kept me informed of okay, so this is number 2. If I go and find number 1, I'll be able to find the full story.
Puzzle.
Yeah, do you see? And a lot of those old Marvel comics are cropped weird,
totally cut off. Yeah,
I've seen a bunch of them like that.
Yeah, isn't that strange? I just noticed that. I don't think I've ever noticed that. But what you were saying here is they have the jigsaw puzzle part 1, part 2 of 6. They clearly let you know, where they are in the series.
Hold on, I'm gonna ask Eric. So I've never used mods here. Why would it need to be approved? Ghost Rider #1 is a valuable comic from that run, Kelsey, by the way. If you have it in high grade, which probably you don't.
No, I definitely don't if I do have it. I'm sure I do, actually.
That's a Ben Franklin or 2 for you.
But, like, here's an example. Like, I was in a huge Michael Golden phase.
You're putting
so I would just rip this cover off. And then years later,
that's a nice splash page. Go back. That's great. Is that Tex?
Yeah. Years later, I realized that Tex did this run. So I was like, oh, shit. Let me focus.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's like this whole underwater adventure, It's like, oh, man, it's even stuff I've never seen Tex do. Oh, I got to go get that issue. So I went back and snagged it. Yeah, now I don't do that as much anymore. I was pretty merciless with comics back in the day.
I like the fact that I have no mods actually limits people.
Yeah, that might be a good thing.
Well, let me try this. I'm going to try something, Eric.
I think everybody that watches
Eric, I just wrote the F word in the comments section, then it was pre-approved. So give it a shot.
Yeah, are they talking about cussing or are they talking about posting links? I think you're
certain words YouTube holds. Clearly, the F word is not one.
Oh,
well, maybe because I posted it. It's my channel. The YouTube police are going to come and break my ankles now. Who owns YouTube? I don't even know. Who owns YouTube? Is it Mike Zuckerberg or whatever?
Google.
That guy is? Google.
Google. Yeah.
Who's the top person at Google? Do we know? Is there like one person? Jeff Google?
Jeff Google. No, I don't know. It's probably run by the AI of the internet now.
Yeah, all the buzzwords are coming through. I'm trying to think. When I watch Sleazy P Martini, what are some of the things? Oh, he always talks about Pizzagate.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like,
Does that get him demonetized or whatever?
I don't know. He jokes about it. He's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, in case you're the Shadow of the Bat run that Stelfreeze did is epic. The cover run.
Is that Stelfreeze?
Yeah, he did this.
Who did the ones? Oh, it's funny. His structure there reminds me a little of like Scott McDaniel.
Well, Scott McDaniel started off as just totally aping
Stelfreeze.
Little bit of Stelfreeze, a little bit of Sin City with the black and white negative look. He was doing his own kind of thing, though. You know, I'm not saying he's aping. Inspired by, I'll say.
Right.
But I mean, all those guys were. You can even see Adam Hughes change his style when he started hanging out with Stelfreeze. The angular shapes and stuff.
Yeah. Who did those Grendel covers again? I'm sorry.
That's Matt Wagner. I was trying to find. I have the.
Those are great.
The first. He's actually a really good artist. He's done some really iconic pieces that people don't remember. But Bisley did the first few of these.
I might have to get those Grendel covers. I like those a lot. I worked with Matt Wagner on Madame Xanadu. He wrote Madame Xanadu when we worked on it.
I love Wagner's. I was a big fan of Sandman Mystery Theater.
I was too.
Because of Wagner, I didn't even really like Guy Davis's artwork until years later.
I actually liked that book and held on to them for years.
Yeah.
I don't know if
you still have them.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but I like that, and for whatever reason, I liked the Mike Allred, The Geek. That was an early one.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a weird book that I liked, maybe because it was a little different.
I actually I looked at that book recently, and I actually like his artwork more in that book than his newer stuff.
Right, like Madman or whatever.
But it's exactly the same, but there's something maybe less practiced about it, I guess.
Who colored what's called Brother Geek, right? Like brothers in small letters, so it looks like it just says Geek. But
it's Geek, but I think it's written like it has like toy blocks on it, right? Okay, check this out. Here's another guy. We'll close it with some of this, but Ken Stacy.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Ken Stacy, like I don't know if you can I don't know if you can make out this background, but like
we didn't do any John Van Fleet on this show, but we'll do Van Fleet like later possibly.
How do you even? This is like, I guess, hand painted. It's not like a wet on wet technique. Like it's an actual painted background, but I don't know. There's some weirdness going on where I'm like, how do you do that? And he uses a lot of airbrush to particular effect. I like that kind of stuff, though. Yeah, if you ever want to know what kind of comic would Kelsey really want to do, it's this.
And we're getting requests for Steve Rude too, so I'll make a mental checklist of the names that we weren't able to touch on. It's a huge topic. You know, it seems smaller when you kind of go like, oh, we'll just do painted books, and then it's like, oh, okay.
When you start digging in, you're like, holy crap! Actually, tons of books that I grew up on and loved reading. I mean, we didn't even get into like heavy metal. That thing's chocked full of it. So yeah, I kind of grew up on painted comics in a way.
Yeah, that's nice. So
have you never seen this?
No, Space Ghost was a little corny to me. Like it just was a little too.
That's what I like. Corny sci-fi, like Lost in Space.
Well, see, but that was like when I was in my 20s and
yeah.
Now I like it, and those are all designed by Alex Toth.
Yeah, Alex Toth did these for, and then Steve Rude did a great adaptation of it. And seeing Ken Stacy like color this stuff, and John Nyberg, I think, inking. You don't see around a lot, John Nyberg. I know he inked Mignola on the Dracula, perhaps the Dracula stuff. All right. Well, that's exhausted all of my painted stuff, except for the one book I spent the entire show trying to find. I must have misplaced it because I was looking at it not that long ago.
Which is
it's probably in my bathroom.
Which Assad Ribic book was it again?
It's a Warrior Nun Ariella.
Oh, okay. The first thing
one shot.
Was that what it was?
I believe that's the first American printed work. I'm pretty sure that Antarctic printed his first American work, and he did that book, and then he did his own book, which is really wild. It's kind of like it's a little bit like a Lobo, but in, I don't know. You have to I don't even remember the name of it, to be honest with you.
I'll have to look for it. But yeah, if anyone ever gets a chance to check out some Assad Ribic stuff, we would both recommend it. Well, and Assad should definitely be in the next video. We'll pick something. God,
he's got a lot.
I did a Thor book or a few. I'm nearly sure if it's not public, I did it for Patreon, but I've definitely done a video on his stuff before for sure.
Okay. Well, because he did a Loki series.
It might have been Loki, actually.
Yeah, Namor. I think I even recently saw that he did some more Asgard stuff, but I'm not familiar. There's a huge period that I wasn't paying attention to anything that was being produced. So I'll have to look back into that stuff. But actually, coming out of this show, I'm dying to go look at some Jimenez, man.
Flip over the back of that comic real quick while you're talking about Juan stuff. The back, all the way, there.
Oh yeah.
My favorite character is I like the cricket guy or whatever he is, and I like the little fox dude or whatever he is. Those two.
Yeah, I forget their names. I know Chad knows. They did a Space Coast to Coast. Huh?
Everyone on the back is awesome. I love
this. This is my if there was an audience for this kind of stuff, then that's going to be my next book after this one I'm working on now. Because I love kitschy 60s sci-fi goofy stuff, Hanna-Barbera, but the reason I don't bother with it is because I just don't think that as many people enjoy that kind of stuff. So,
well, there was I can't remember what channel it was on, but they used to be like a Space Ghost show where he would interview people.
Yeah, Coast to Coast. I wasn't really into that.
That was kind of my first exposure to him, and so I was like, I don't know. This is a little.
Oh, Brack and Zorak, right? Is that right?
Yeah, they're cool.
He's Brack.
Yeah, so we've got Brack or Brack. Well,
everything shivers. Yeah, still.
One saying
Brack. Jasper saying Grack. Yeah.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera is great. I wouldn't. It would be kind of fun to do. I mean, it wouldn't have a mass appeal, but the classic Hanna-Barbera is fantastic. Yeah,
I mean, I like their adventure series stuff, like the Birdman, the Space Ghost, the Herculoids, there's a bunch. I'm really into that kind of that. It's a little more naive, I guess, is a great way. I think everything nowadays has to be so serious and dark and it has to somehow change the world, and it's like I just want some adventure and some goofy fun and some great characters, So Herculoids.
And this guy's saying that you should do it as a Kickstarter. One thing I was going to say though, Kelsey, is it's funny because I started getting into GI Joe.
Innocent, yeah. Go ahead. What?
I never ever really checked out the GI Joe comic book.
They're so good. They're really fun.
They're really fun.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm excited to be able to experience the whole process of getting into it.
Larry Hama wrote a large portion of that. He also wrote all the Wolverine stuff I read. I don't cite him enough as a huge influence on me from a writing point of view, but he's brilliant. He's such a fun writer.
Yeah,
because it is fun, and he knows action really well too. So if you want some good action writing, if the penciler pulls it off, you never can go wrong with some Larry Hama. He does some good stuff.
What I shot a video for Patreon, and then I ended up scrapping it because it was I don't know the GI Joe characters well enough, and it felt weird trying to do a video where I don't know anyone's name. But what I liked about, in particular, just the first issue of it. Oh, Steve Rude, awesome. Was the book was so fun. I mean, you had the Punisher Armory stuff where they would break down the weapons for you. You had a pinup gallery in the back with introducing the new characters.
Yeah.
Because you worked on all this stuff. Oh, did you want to promote anything, by the way, too?
I'm so brain dead at the moment. I don't even know what I'm working on, to be honest with you. No, I don't want to mess it up. But Nexus. Oh yeah, well I did a Nexus book, but it's not. You can't really. I don't know if you can get it right now. But we're talking about doing more. There's 3 issues, and I've done 1, and it should be coming out. Zach should be like putting it out soon. But there's 2 more issues of it, and I'm already kind of tinkering around with layouts on the 2nd issue. So we're still going to go with it. But I was a huge Nexus fan way before that. Steve Rude, his sketchbook. What does it say? Consider doing Judge Dredd 2000 AD. This is what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you were here for that, but I've been really wanting to like dive into that world. I love that world from like the movies and the few comics I've read, but it's pretty big, right?
Well, I would need a setup like Kelsey's where I've got the overhead camera thing, but I have a bunch of the comic books in my storage, so it's definitely something that I would like to do. So for sure, but yeah, I need to get the dog washing device that Kelsey's using.
Yeah, it's hard to find, but they make it. Don't buy it if you're wanting to do this kind of thing. Don't spend all that money on a professional camera tripod thing. It'll just fall over and it's no good. This is just a piece of metal that's designed to hold dogs on a table while they wash them. And it works great, and it was about $100 cheaper than everything else people were buying. So
he got the Acme dog washer.
Yeah, exactly.
With the metal arms with the little gloved hand. That's sort of like.
This is the time we're entering in. We're entering a very DIY time where people want to grow their own food. They're watching their health. Yeah. They're tired of digital comics. They want to go back to the old ways. Movies might be followed. There's definitely I was one that was all for digital cinema, but
I have that comic.
Now I don't want that to go away. This is actually one of my favorite. I really love this book.
The cover on the right with him sitting holding the skull or whatever.
Oh yeah, this one here.
My God, that's beautiful. That is a great comic book cover. Oh yeah. My God.
Yeah, this Executioner song I think is when they're wrapping up various storylines from other series is like Alien Justice and Wages of Sin. This is Executioner song. This is such a great. I really enjoyed it. So it's really a dream come true to be like actually doing an issue of this.
Yeah,
I just wish Steve was painting the covers for me. That would be great. The dude.
What is the dude up to? Why he doesn't paint covers anymore?
No, he's doing his own Nexus thing. They had they have a deal where they can kind of do their own thing, and I think they hit a point where they each kind of had their own kind of Nexus story that they wanted to tell. So I don't really know. I don't dig into like their personal stuff, but
okay. I see.
I know that they're each doing kind of their own Nexus right now.
Okay.
Which is cool. More the merrier, Well,
this is,
it's not, and a lot of people are like, how come dude's not doing it? Well, if you go back at like the history of Nexus, there's whole years where Steve's not doing anything on the book. It's somebody else drawn. It's Paul Smith, and people like that. There's a whole bunch of like great. Adam Hughes did some stuff on
Adam Hughes drew Nexus.
Some, yeah.
I've never seen that.
So there's a big history of lots of artists working on Nexus. It's just that Steve is the man.
Have you seen Adam's Betty and Veronica stuff that he did? I guess it was like within the last year or two.
Yeah, I liked it.
I thought it was really good too. I really liked it. His Hellboy issue was quite fun too. He's done the most recent one was, I thought, cool.
I'm not the biggest fan of Jose Villarubio. I forget his name. Sorry, I butchered his name. I really like him on certain guys. And he did a very good job on that book. I'm just wondering what would have looked like with some more poppy colors, some more bouncy colors. But he was doing that fall as a set in the fall, so it was very appropriate for what it was, I think. But,
right.
Anyway,
who's the guy in the bottom panel of that thing? It looks like Neil Adams with crazy hairdo.
That is.
Is that Neil Adams?
It probably is based on him. Hold on, let me focus in.
Why isn't he? He's not wearing the blue shirt.
Let's see.
Wait, pull out a little.
It's a little bit curvy.
Oh, okay. It doesn't really look. It doesn't look.
Little curvy, little Neil Adams. It's
Neil's got very handsome hair. So he's had that like very like the 50s kind of hairdo.
Yeah. All right, I'm starving to death. I need to go and get some food.
Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Please make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you haven't, obviously, all the fun stuff. And thank you very much for the super chats. And yeah, look in the comment section below. If you have any recommendations for other videos that you want, by all means, place them there. If you have stuff that you want to promote, you're more than welcome to, if you can't post a link, because sometimes YouTube will hide it, you can just put the name of your book and people can search it online too. Just put Indiegogo, the name of your comic or whatever.
Yeah.
So, because we want everyone to have exposure. It's difficult to.
Well, if you got somebody here that's here a lot, you trust. Like I see Hans Roger, he's always here and he's always participating in the show. I'm forgetting names, but there's some guys you could potentially make those guys mods. They'll help guide, post links, and things like that while we're doing show. That's what they're for generally, and because they're always here. They're part of the show, and so
you can't have a great show without great comments. So
yeah, well, the mods kind of help things go along too, and especially when you got somebody being a jerk. Yeah, the mods will kick them.
Do you have the Steve Rude sketchbook?
I used to. I don't think I got it anymore.
That girl stole it, didn't she?
No, I don't think she took that one. She was all into my gothic shit. So
Kelsey, I think she took. You need to give her a phone call today. Talk to her.
No, she already swears up and down she didn't. So
is she in Louisiana?
No, I don't know where the hell she's at now. So.
Where did you guys date?
Texas.
She's probably married a rancher or an oil prospector.
I know. She showed him my books. He fell in love with her, thought, she's got good taste. When he should be my husband, and I should be married to the oil billionaire.
You never. All right, I'll talk to you later, man. All right, I'm homophobic. I really believe that if you just give people a proper amount of respect and freedom, that they generally will behave well. I've had people totally come on and try to flame me, and I actually engage them, and then they end up being fans. I'm like, it's all right, little buddy. Just sit down. Let's hang out. So, Kelsey, now
I'm drawing on my board. All right, I gotta get. I'm hungry.
Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast, and then we'll say goodbye privately. Okay, bye, everyone. See you guys later. Thank you.